I want you to take a whole different look at this. And she goes, okay. I said, I don't know what it is, but I want you to let me know if that looks like pee or water. She took the lid off and I said, just you be here for a minute. I'm going to leave.
Just sit with it.
Just sit with it for a minute. Because there's things going on here that you can't see with your eyes necessarily. So just hang out here for a couple minutes. I know the smell might get to you. Don't worry about it. It won't stick to you, I promise. Just be here with it for a minute. And so I came back and I go, so what do you think? You still think pee is waste? And she goes, no, it's really interesting. I go, exactly. It's like when you look down in the jar,
Hmm.
you know you're not looking at a waste product anymore.
Oh, heck.
There's energy coming off of this thing, and I'm picking it up. You look down into it, you slosh it around, it doesn't move like water. It's just different. And I said, and mind you, that jar you're looking at is like a month and a half old. And she goes, really? I go, uh-huh. It's a
Uh-huh.
month and a half old. I said, I've got some 3 month stuff too. I was like, and all of your regenerative stem cells that people are paying these doctors hell of a lot
Now,
of money for, so much. And sometimes the treatments don't work that great, you know? And I
hmm.
said, when you've got it on tap. In fact, there's a company right now that's selling a liquid drinkable stem cell activator right now. That's getting great results. Don't get me wrong, the science is doing fine, but I'm like, I bet
Different
it doesn't,
ingredients.
I bet it doesn't come close to the amount of stem cells my aged urine has in it. Ain't no way. And
Ain't no
plus
way.
all the other math. I said, so I said, think about this, babe. I said, so you had an experience yesterday. She goes, mm-hmm. And then you're producing medicine the very next morning.
24 hour.
She goes, yeah. I said, that medicine's to compensate for everything prior. She
Hmm.
said, whatever happened to you yesterday is solved in that first flow
Hmm.
in the morning. It's going to put you back in equilibrium from yesterday. And that blew her mind. I was like, so all the programming, all the math, all the balancing that has to happen, the body produced it. It then cleaned it very well, distilled it to the maximum potential, and then released it. And here it is, right in the front of your body where you can collect it easily.
Hmm.
It's not in the back. You can't collect back there. You don't want it. I said, that's compost. Okay. That's compost. That's
Yep.
dirt. We want to turn that back into dirt. But this goes back in. And we
It,
bring
it
this.
just, just so happens to be, and some of the guys in the community caught this, that urine just happens to flow at the same part of our body where new life begins.
Exactly. And that something else that came up that really got my the doctor I was telling you about earlier, the holistic doctor that said she would do it.
Hmm.
Because as I'm talking, the truth is in between the words. You know what I mean? The feeling and the emotion and the God, it's right in between the words. And she was picking up on that essence and she goes, wait a minute, you don't have to tell me anymore. I said, what do you mean? She goes,
I got it.
I fed my baby breast milk. It was perfectly mapped to him. She
Hmm.
goes, this is all women need to know because then they'll recognize that you created the perfect milk. Why wouldn't you create the perfect urine? She goes, so for me, she goes, I made life. I'm the life portal, life vessel. I can sustain life off my body from the milks that I give, and I can sustain my own life through my urine. And I said, how would this world be if every woke up tomorrow and realized they didn't need to eat half the stuff they need to eat?
Or supplement with
Or
half the.
supplement half the stuff that they supplement. And mind you, brother, I'm coming off of the supplement train. I've been on the supplement train for years,
I've watched you. I know some of
right?
your tricks. Yeah.
So I'm peeling back the layers now. Like I've come off amino acids. I'm coming off a few other supplements. There's one that I love that I'm having a hard time coming off of. Um, and it's just because I feel like I connect to Matt every time I have his medicine. Every time I flush, I think of him. So it's like, I don't know if I want that to go away.
So one of the things that I sent you, um, by the way, we're recording now. This is urotherapy training course number 35. Um, I sent you the Shivambu Wisdom Chart by
Yes.
email. So what this is the bullet points are the key components of why this works. And somewhere in the list, and maybe at the bottom of the list, is that Shivambu, Orin, whatever you want to call it, is in a category all into itself. Right? So we're trying to explain something from the realm of infinity to put it down into a context so people can understand it. And it's always going to take them even further in their understanding of what their body and what this water is about.
Mm-hmm.
To add what you said about being self-sufficient, being self-regenerative, being self-healing, well, one of the components in the Shivambu wisdom chart is that this water works regardless of your considerations. To go even farther than that, I mean, there's no rules, there's no dogma, there's no obligations. You cannot mess this up unless you walk away from it. Um, it's so universal in its application that it doesn't care what gender gives it to what gender. It doesn't care what age. It doesn't care what state of health. It could be a sick person's urine, and I can explain a little more into that. It doesn't matter what species, because you know people are doing camel and cow urine.
Wow. Wow.
All right. So if I mean if you go to India, if you go to Arabia, they have camel urine. Doc Mike Woodtort turned me on to camel urine, so I have some of that in stock. Um, we have stories after stories of people like Dr. Bunmi Samola out there in Nigeria who was really sick when he was 10 years old. And his mom remembered her teaching from her mom and back in time to give urine to the children. And her son was given her urine and he recovered to full health.
Could this not be the original water fast?
It probably is because it's more thick, more thorough in nutrients than distilled water fast or even dry fasting.
Yeah. And it's still a distilled product at the end of the day. It's still a structured product at the end of the day. This to me is the cat's meow of water fasting.
Yep.
So like this week is just like this month, I'm just fruiting and I'm looping, fruiting and looping.
Hmm. Yeah. And you're still going to get a lot of things done.
I feel great. I
Yeah.
just went on a 1 mile walk before I got logged in, and yesterday, um, I work out every day. I feel wonderful. All I know is I'm getting better and better and better. And what's interesting is I'm packing on muscle like crazy. I got this one of those new crazy one of those cool scales. I paid way too much for it, but it's high tech, right?
Yep.
And it was time for me to get a new scale. And so I'm noticing that I'm picking up mass and my fat's reducing. I'm not really doing anything different in my workouts. I'm just
Hmm.
staying consistent with my urine
Every
and
day.
the foods, right? Just urine, the foods, the fast. I fast about 18 hours a day most days. Um, I'll probably won't do any long, extended fasting this month at all.
Hmm.
Since I'm, so light, just let the body cleanse and purge and use the nutrients to keep me astute every day because I've had no turn down in energy or anything at all. Sleeping like a baby, and the body feels very, very good. I'm still moving like a 30. The way I measure life is to move like a 30-year-old from back in the day. If I can still move like a 30-year-old from back in the day with no pain, no restraint, and no stiffness, then that's what I use as a measure for my physical health.
Yeah, you got it dialed in that way.
Hmm. And so I wake up I still feel 30 and being, almost a third, I'm 50, I'll be 53 in this year. Um,
You're just a kid.
yeah, and I feel like a kid. That's the thing is to be 50, but I don't think 50. I don't feel 50. I feel like a baby. I feel like I'm just starting to learn stuff in
Yep.
this world. And I think it has a lot to do with the urine. is that it's opening me up, allowing me to get back to my child. And I've been doing a lot of healing work with a couple other healers to help help get over some things my inner child went through in my youth. So it's just getting better and better.
Yep, it always will. What I love about doing urine fast is that I'll get a whole lot done. I'll get the exercises in. I'll do swimming at the ocean. And somewhere around 5 o'clock in the afternoon, it dawns on me, Ken, I didn't think about food all day.
That's right. I didn't think about food all day long.
And what a time saver is to not be anchored into food slavery.
It's a gift. I started that with fasting many years ago, and that was the first freedom, right? I'm like, you guys don't have any idea what freedom's really like until you don't have any dependencies on
Yeah,
physical stuff. And I'm like, what do you mean? I'm like, eating. I don't have to eat. And it feels great not to have to eat.
yeah.
Um,
I
not
follow.
just,
Yeah,
yeah, not just multiple times a day, but I don't want to eat today. I don't feel like I have to eat today. In fact, the only thing that happens at night sometimes is your brain just goes, shouldn't you be eating? There's no hunger, but your brain goes, shouldn't you be eating?
yeah.
And you
And for
go,
a lot of people, it's emotion-backed demands. It's late at night. They're all alone. There's an empty spot inside their body or in their heart, and they go, food will do it. I don't have a lover. Food will.
food will fill me up. It'll satisfy the urge or whatever the potential is.
Yeah, it's another hook.
It's just another way. And this is why we have to have a diet of lots of raw food. Um, I don't think that really happens much when you're on a high raw diet for a long time. That urge really dissipates because I used to be a late night eater, you know, but it was stimulated by television. That's all that emotional garbage hitting you, and your nervous system doesn't know any different, so it's reacting. And you know, we I was explaining this to my wife because on last Friday we went to a theme park with the kids,
Mhm.
so we rode a lot of roller coasters all day long. And after we went to about four roller coasters, I was like, we shouldn't be hungry. We ate before we went. We'd only there for an hour and a half, but all of a sudden everybody's hungry. And I said, you know why everybody's hungry? She's like, why? I said, because we've been scared to death. We've all been scared to death for about an hour.
Yeah.
Up and down these roller coasters and all things. I said, that's all that the body's trying to buffer from the stress, the emotional output, the excitement. The body
Yeah.
thinks it was dying. She was like, what? Yeah, the body thought it was plummeting till its death multiple times. So now it wants to feel safe and it wants to go into parasympathetic mode. It wants to eat. It wants to relax. It wants to be held and nurtured.
Comforted. Yeah. So do you have some water with you, bro?
I can. Give me
Get
just
it?
a second. I'm gonna get some aged. I'll be right back.
All right, I'm going to turn off the recording. We're going to do a communion prayer. It comes out of the Healing Water from Within book, second edition. This is the book that launched my career.
Oh
I
yeah,
was
that's the first book.
I was going about being a wellness practitioner in Boulder, Colorado. We're doing a lot of foot massage and reflexology, nutritional counseling, blah, blah, blah. And then this book drops in. Just as I discovered there's urine therapy social media groups all over the place. The book drops in. I get it published. Within 2 weeks, I'm at the Water of Life convention in Las Vegas in a meeting room with ADP drinkers. I've never been in a room with ADP drinkers before.
Wow, I want to do that one day. That
And
sounds cool.
so, and so Anthony A.K. King, the beautiful soul who put it all together, not only gave me an opportunity to be on the tables with all the other authors doing book signing, he allowed me to have the stage for a few minutes. And within weeks, I'm in like 20 or 30 podcasts, radio, television, and my career just went, and it's been nonstop viral for 8 years.
That's awesome. That is awesome.
So
I love that.
now 6 urine therapy books later, I come out with the inescapable book because I realized that my work is beyond urine therapy, and I wanted to reach a wider audience. So the subject of wellness and inner peace seemed to fit all those other groups.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, because you're way more. That's the thing, right? I've been in a bit of a transition in my practice as of late.
Yeah,
Um, I'm trying to resituate my purpose and my walk
your
and
calling.
how I serve. I'm trying. Something's not settled within me, and I've been unsettled. I don't think it's by accident that I'm a little. Yeah, I'm breathing.
I'll have that talk with you and help you define and move into that place off out of class.
That'll be great.
So here's how we're going to do this. You're familiar with kirtan, devotional chanting,
Oh,
mantra.
yes, 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 yes.
Okay, typically if you go to a kirtan group, there is one person who holds the position of the caller. Like if Krishna Das is doing a group, he says the first line, everybody repeats it.
Okay.
Okay, so here we go. It's from the Healing Water from Within. It's a Native American prayer, and it just fits perfectly. Here we go. I take this water of life.
I take this water of life.
I declare it the water of light.
I declare it the water of light.
As I bring this water within this body,
As I bring this water within this body,
it allows me to glow.
it allows me to glow.
I take this water of light.
I take this water of light.
I declare it the water of God.
I declare it the water of God.
I am the master of all that I do and all that I am.
I am the master of all that I do and all that I am.
So be it.
So be it.
So let me show you some of my urine therapy book collection.
Ah.
I don't have a book by you. All right, so you're already familiar with it. Is this forwards or backwards when you read this?
No, it's perfect. It looks perfect.
Okay, on my screen it's reversed, but that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
So there's Healing Water from Within book. There's Aged Urine. He wrote 3 of these.
Mm-hmm.
Not very thick, but still, it's a good.
Still rich.
Yeah.
And I like Harry's perspective. I like the different approaches and thoughts. You know, I think that's important is to have multiple masters in this discipline because we're seeing things that others can't see initially and then growing as a greater consciousness through the act of these writings. I think it's great that we've got multiple people writing in this field.
Yeah. And I like that he brings in the emotional, spiritual content in there. My books had to be different than the ones that were out there, Martha Chrisley's and Golden Fountain and John W. Armstrong. They had a lot of great material and great content, and it was a lot of technical stuff. But
Yeah.
I wanted to reach, what does it take for someone to form a new association in their mind to embrace this water and this lifestyle and and address the things people have to go through in order to make that change.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We're very similar in that respect. It's all about activation. It's like we can have all the greatest math around wellness, if you will, but if there's no activation, then it's useless.
Yeah, what's going to motivate people? So
Mhm.
this was my urine therapy Bible.
The Golden Fountain, it looks big.
Yeah. And then he republished it with this cover.
The Golden Fountain. I gotta find that. That's awesome.
This has been out so long, it's now on PDF. People are getting them for free, which I still have an issue with because Dr. Group, bless his heart, was giving my book away.
Are you serious?
Yeah, he had it on his urotherapy. Some people say he plagiarized my work, but oops, off camera. So he was giving away my books, PDFs for free, and I called him on it. And I said, I'm a living author. That's not cool. So he switched it to a live link to the book.
Good. Good. Thank God. Got to do the right thing.
Amen. So this was my Bible. I studied it, I read it, but it didn't turn me on to get me really fired up until I read this book, which I've republished, The Secrets of Youthing by my teacher mentor Leonard Orr. And in this book, he describes Now, he was a devotee of Babaji. Who was in Yogananda's book, Autobiography of a Yogi. And he spent a lot of time in India with Babaji, and he considered Babaji Shiva.
Oh, okay.
So the connection I made was that Shiva told Leonard to tell me that I should start urine therapy, and I didn't have to go through mental gymnastics. It was a God thing. It wasn't about, oh, I had an illness, I got to heal. I have, it's like, okay, it's good enough for my teacher. I'm in.
Right. It just landed where it was supposed to land.
Oh, and same with people all the time. You hear them, so I don't know why, but I just feel a calling. I've got to do this.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
1994, a lot of great books came out. 1994, Martha Christie.
I've seen that one. I've seen that one. Yep.
Okay. She's not around anymore, but Martin Laura still is.
Are these on your site somewhere? I've had
Uh,
to have seen these all in one place.
they might be at brothersage.com. They might be at Shiva Lifestyle, but Martin Laura, it's a good thick book. He came
It
out with
is.
in 1994. He's out in New York and he's still teaching.
That's awesome.
Let's see.
Dr. Phillips or my
Just so you know, he's not a doctor. He forgot to put D.R. His real name is David. Slight mistake there. So this is all about one meal a day and looping.
I think I'm doing that for the
Yeah.
most part.
So my books, you've seen that you have this one.
I don't think I have that one.
All right, this is the second edition.
Maybe, oh, I do have that one. The cover looks different.
Yeah, well, we had to change the cover because the algorithms in Amazon somehow came up with some nonsense that said that this is the original cover. They claimed that I didn't have the authority to use an image that was copyrighted. I thought it was public domain, so they took it off the bookshelf. So my editor said, so we ended up spending money so we could own the use of the copyright. So this is the new cover.
Gotcha.
And you can actually see her holding her Shivambu vessel right there, which was cut off on the first cover. She's holding her pea jar. And so books have come out in French, Portuguese, Spanish, Japanese, German. This is the Spanish version.
Mm-hmm.
And you know me, I'm a punster. I have to have fun when you got to have the kind of mind where you're a wordsmith. So I came out with the first and only Piscabulary of Urinisms. So it's a pistastic book, and people have fun learning a language that only makes sense to pea drinkers.
That's right. That's right.
So if you're gonna entertain people, you must have fun with it. So as we go further in this class, I'm going to show you some of the accessories and some of the equipment that you may already have or may want to get your hands on.
I want to get me that. I need to get the syringe for the nose. Is that what you're using?
Yeah.
Nasaline.
Azaline, yeah, it holds 60 milliliters. And it's a soft silicone syringe with a plunger, and then you have the tip at the end that you can put in your nose. This helps you to get over the challenge of drinking in the nose.
Yeah. So when you take it in the nose, you're just supposed to let it go ahead and drink it down, or are you supposed to let it spit it out?
Well, here's the deal. You might already know that there's a passageway that goes behind the throat, and then it meets up with the mouth down here.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you're bringing it up the nose, it's going to end up behind the mouth and into the throat down here.
Right.
Some of it will drip out and some of it otherwise. So this is a way to fast track it up into your brain crossing the blood-brain barrier, hydrating the sinuses, without spending time trying to learn how to drink it using the muscles of your nose, just out of the.
If so, I know we're not going to talk about treating anything, but let's say someone had
We will in one of the classes.
had something in their brain that
Yep.
they needed to get out. Um, Using the nasal is going to be an advantage because it's going to be direct and controlled, and knowing that we're going to cross the blood-brain barrier each and every time.
Mhm. This does take some getting used to, because all of a sudden, I mean, see this? That's 60 milliliters. This will shoot up your nose in 3 seconds.
Holy smokes!
You're just going.
Ooh.
Right? So the challenge people has is their sinuses are typically dehydrated. So all of a
Hmm.
sudden it's getting moisture and hydration in there. So there's a sting for a couple of times you do that
Right,
till
right.
you get acquainted with it.
I was actually surprised because I haven't done it a lot. Um, I was only using I would say last about a year from that, a year past, I was using a mister, and boy, was it burning. Yeah, exact same thing. So I was using that, and I was like, man. Now
That's why.
I tried, and I think, well, for me, I needed to use fresh, not not aged. It was way too strong for me on the age side. Maybe I can get there down the line.
Well, that takes time to practice, because age for most people it stings for 3 or 4 seconds. And without getting turned off and not going back to do it again, people either diluting it with fresh or with distilled water.
Yeah, I dilute my age with fresh typically.
Hmm.
Now, you gave me so much confidence that I drank all of that aged with no dilution. So
Yeah.
that was 100% aged, one cup. And I've
And
never done that before, and it went down like a breeze. It went down like
yeah,
a breeze. Yeah. Like you said, the link is a lot of confidence and connection and
yes.
community, because I'm all by myself out here, and where I do these things, I'm all about myself.
Yeah, well, you're just a device and a screen away from reaching somebody.
Yeah. So that in fact, I think Nicholas Skazarsi, he was saying that he's trying to get up to, I think, 16 ounces a day of
Uh,
aid.
yeah,
I'm
right.
like, is there something to that, brother? Is there something to that number?
I don't know. Are you talking about the pint size?
With just that much aged in a day on a regular basis?
Well, consider the potency is amplified from fresh. You can imagine its ability to like deliver that into the blood, into the interstitial fluid, in throughout the circulation of the body. Um, Now, something I do every morning, I have for years, is I'll drink a whole, yeah, and we're going to talk about spray bottle here in a little bit.
Oh,
I'll drink a
cool.
whole liter first thing in the morning.
Whoa. Did you say you drink a liter?
I will have 4 or 5 waves of bowel movements while sitting on the toilet. Right now, I learned this little trick from Stanley Burroughs, the guy who started the Master Cleanse. Ever heard of that?
Yeah.
All right, so he said an alternative to laxatives and intestinal cleanses was a quart of warm water and 2 teaspoons of sea salt. Well, I didn't want to go that route, and I'd been doing urine therapy, so I didn't add anything except for just the urine, and noticed that it had the power, and it still works just wonderfully. I have solid matter, and there's liquid matter coming out, and I'm good to go. And so I've been teaching and preaching that, I guess, the last 10 or 20 classes, that you can experiment with that. It may be overwhelming for people, but you can do it.
I'm gonna go for it. I'm gonna go with 32 ounces. I'm gonna start tomorrow, and just
Stomach. Yeah.
nothing goes in my body until I've taken all that in.
Yeah. And you're also getting all that nutrients inside you, so you may not feel hungry, for a while.
Yeah, I'm hungers. I normally do very good with. I'm normally not hungry. In fact, if I am hungry, I will eat. That's how rare I'm hungry. So that if I do get hungry, I eat. So there might be a couple of times a year
Hmm.
that I will eat in the morning unless it's predicated by an event or with family or something like that.
Yeah.
Um, so I'm gonna try that tomorrow. Quart, I'm gonna start with a quart, see if I can do 4 doses, bam, 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 within an
Mhm.
hour and get them all down, and then
Yep.
let the experience happen, man. Let's let the
Let it flow.
experience happen.
One thing you might try when you get the hunger symptoms, and it seems to work for me, is I'm always testing. I mean, you and I, we're scientists, we're researchers of our own
Hmm.
inventory, our body. So all I would eat was a date or two and a banana, and the hunger's gone.
Wow. Like, oh, I'm fine. That's it. That's all I need. I don't need anything else.
Yeah, and most people think it has to be volume and bulk.
No, it's not. It's not about bulk. We have to get out of this bulk mindset. You
Yeah,
know, this is what's holding us all back.
yep.
Because as we go through various modalities and you start getting people to eat more raw food, they're still bulking. Even I did it, right? So I'm going along, and oh, Christina, raw food. Christina's amazing. She's beautiful. You know, I think she has an amazing spirit. Um, and I'm like, I'm gonna start making salads as big as hers.
Yeah, right. Okay.
I don't need salads that big.
No, you don't. You just need them the size of your stomach.
That's it. And be happy with that. And so I went out and had bought me this special bowl, a trough.
Yeah, it's already measured properly.
I'd gone out to measure this, do this trough, and I was eating this big salads every day. And then I was like, but wait a minute, Ken, this is breaking digestive rules.
It is.
It is breaking all kind of, and I'm like, catch yourself here. Catch yourself. And I said, okay, you gotta walk back, you gotta back away from this. This is taking you back into the same gluttony.
Mhm.
It's just in a different format.
It's a different format.
It won't
Before,
have as many implications, but there will be implications from
uh,
overeating.
Ken, before I forget, you may already know about these two things I'm about to mention to you,
That's
but
okay.
if you haven't, write these down and I'll explain why they're so important. One is the chemistry and composition of foods, and the other thing is food combining chart.
Okay, say the first one again.
Chemistry and composition of food.
Mm-hmm.
There are charts that are flying around here. And the other one is a food combining chart. And a food combining chart tells you why you don't want to mix protein and starch, fruit and protein, starch and protein,
I would
melon, anything but melons.
I would say the chemistry and composition of food. I'd love to see that. Um, Food combining, I'm well versed in. I teach that all the time.
Well, the many layers, and you started talking about this. Why? Now, I was in what got me on the path was in 1977. A buddy and I were painting Willie Nelson's motel in Austin, and he decides
I'm from Austin.
I spent 12 years there. Another conversation.
That's crazy.
So he ends up joining the Air Force without letting me know. And I was there all by myself, didn't know anybody, and I found an old girlfriend that says, go to Green Life. It's a raw food community. They'll let anybody live there. They do energy exchange. And little did I know that jumping into a raw food community got me on the path. And my mentors were Victoras Kovinskas and Dr. Ann Wigmore and Norman Walker and Bernard Jensen. These are all my influences.
Mm-hmm.
So, a lot of wheatgrass juice, a lot of fasting. And one of the things that I had to learn was, and you could see this in raw food communities, is they think anything that's raw, you can eat and you can eat as much as you want. And the guys who influenced me the most always say never eat more than 4 or 5 items at a time
Yeah. Yeah.
together. Chew thoroughly. Don't eat late at night. Don't go to a business meeting where there's food at the business meeting because you're not chewing, you're listening and getting ready to say something, and you don't have a relationship with your food.
Exactly. I agree with that 100%.
So these are little subtle things why some people can handle even raw foodism and some people can't, because there's certain dietary laws that they're not practicing.
Normally it's from complication.
Yeah.
There's too much complication in the food.
Hmm. Yeah, the enzymes don't work right.
So I wonder, like, if there's so much complication in the food, is that speaking directly to the complication within that they're trying to solve?
Or make up for.
Yeah.
There,
Say
it could,
there's a lot of compensation going on there.
when you're teaching people fasting, the breaking the fast is equally as important as beginning the fast.
I think it's
Okay.
the most important.
Oh, very much so. You get off of fasting and people go back to the way they ate before they fasted, and you just like almost ruined the effects of the fast. So I have to teach them to baby step with a mono diet with one or two fruits, and then slowly introduce new food.
Absolutely.
And
Yep.
hopefully at that time, they discover that their food choices are different.
Yeah. Yep. I was walking a gentleman back up the ladder, if you will, in food, and he circumvented the process a bit, and he had to pay a little price for it. But we got to talk about it. And I was like, well, he goes, well, I don't know why I felt pain in my stomach. I'm like, because you can actually feel now, which is great. That's why. He goes, it was just a spinach wrap and a Greek salad. And I go, it already sounds like too much food.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah. I said, how many ingredients in the spinach wrap? How many ingredients in the Greek salad? I said,
Yeah.
and you've had no acid in your body. I'm sure you had dressing on that salad. He goes, yes. I bet that's what really triggered it. The
And what
vinegar.
was the wrap made out of?
The vinegar. Well, it was actually spinach.
Oh, okay. They rolled it
So
in
there was
spinach.
yeah, there was no tortilla or anything like that, no pita. It was actually a spinach wrap made of spinach. And it had some other vegetables and things inside, but it also had a little rice. And I was like, we've got complication. He goes, I said, so now you're actually feeling what your body doesn't want to do.
Yeah.
It doesn't want to process all this stuff at the same time because you haven't had a pain in 30 days. You've been in cleanse mode gently for 30 days,
Mm-hmm.
right? He's like, yeah. I said, you've not had one pain except pooping. He's like, yeah. So what's that tell you about the food you're putting back in your body? You got to connect the dots here. I can't just tell you. You got to connect it yourself.
Yep.
I said, so we'll talk next week and tell me what you think, you think on it, and then we'll talk next week. And so he came back and he goes, the more and more I'm going down this line, I'm realizing I can't go back. I was like, no, no, you can. It's just not smart. That
Yeah.
wouldn't be prudent, right? The world wants you to go back, as innocent as it looks. It wants you to
Mm.
go back, but you'll end up way back at some point. And so I'm here to help you because I've done it already. And I'm trying to keep you from going back. I went back because I didn't have anyone tell me not to go back.
Right. And I've seen that happen time and time again. People left the raw food community, but they got introduced to society, and society has another approach to food. So they started eating to fit in. I did that. You start eating to fit in, you have no support structure. And when I left the raw food community, they all scattered everywhere. So there was no internet, there was no support group.
Oh, you guys weren't. Oh, that's tough.
You have to figure it out or have a discipline or have a spiritual practice that keeps you at a place where you can say no to all the other stuff.
Yeah. And it's tough. Like in my house, I've got three other people, two young children growing up, 13 and 11, growing up, dealing with all the throes of life. As kids, they're both in sports, and then my wife as well. And I said, my job isn't to make them perfect. My job is to lead and share as much as possible. Um, you
And
know,
demonstrate.
yeah, my wife, I said, so it's interesting because I brought up this weekend because I saw something that my wife let my son watch. And I'm like, if he can watch that, then we're watching Cowspiracy and Seaspiracy this weekend. And she said, what? I'm like, we got to get it down now. Can't wait any longer. They need the truth. They know I don't eat any animals, but they gotta know why. They gotta have to know why. They gotta see why. It's the seeing that connects.
Right.
I said, I just happen to have that, plus I have the science. This is my job. So yeah, it's my career. I'm deeper in it, all that, but there's millions and millions of people out there that don't eat animals because they get access the right visual, the right book, the right community, and they made the better choice for themselves for the
Mhm.
long haul. You don't have to be a vegan, but you should want to self-preserve at a
Mhm.
minimum. Self-preservation at a minimum. I did not do any of this for veganism. I did this for self-preservation and to be a leader in health. That's why I'm doing it.
Yep.
It just so happens now that I love the aspect that I'm doing a little more for the animals and at the same time. I love that part of it because
Oh,
they come to me.
oh, they do. They love
They
you.
come to me,
When
man.
I go on my hikes every day, there's the neighbor who's got the land, the sheep in the backyard.
Mhm.
Right? The sheeps come up, you feed them grass, they let you pet them, they lock eyes on you. I mean, there's like a kinship with animals when you're not bringing fear, you're not bringing any kind of
No
domination.
threat, no threats, no competition. In fact, we were just looking at some deer in our wood line. It's only about 50, maybe 30 feet away from our house. And I was like, my son was like, "Oh, there's a deer out there." So we all jumped out on the back deck real quick.
To look at it.
And he goes, I said, "No, there's eight." Because I'm looking at them through the wood line and I'm
Yeah,
seeing all their heads turn around and look at us. And I'm like, "No, there's about eight of them, maybe nine." He's like, "What?" I said, "Just keep looking. Don't move. Just watch."
stay still. Yeah.
And he picked them all up. And mind you, they're all hanging out there observing my garden. They're waiting for everything to grow just right.
Yep. Yep. They're
So they
ready to
can
eat.
get their share.
Let me show you some more items and then we'll go on to the next. So we're coming up to 10 o'clock, which is the first hour. Typically in these classes, halfway through, we do a 10-minute break so that students can do whatever they need for 10 minutes and then we come back to class.
I don't need a break unless you need one.
Okay, good. And then just on occasion, if you ever need this, you have the option. Some people, something happens and they need to get out of class earlier. So that's always available if something comes up and you go, hey, we need to complete a half an hour earlier, and we can always adjust classes.
Okay.
This is not a Aladdin's lamp.
Oh, amazing.
Neti pot.
Neti pot, yeah.
It's great for cleaning nostril to nostril. Doesn't get into the brain. It won't do what the syringe or a cup will do. But for people who just want to clean from nose to nose, neti pot will do the trick.
Okay.
These are a must-have.
pH strips.
Yeah, look for the ones that go up to 14.0.
Whoa, I've never seen those.
Yeah, you either get them at shivalifestyle.com or just go to Google and because most of them quit at 8.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're looking at urine and it's tapping out at 9, 10, 11, 12, mine usually hits around 10. As a matter of fact, let's test it, make sure I'm telling the truth here.
Is this on like day to day or is this aged?
This is like an hour old.
Oh wow.
I mean, the age stuff is either, I have to tell you about my lifestyle. I've got urine everywhere. I got it in the car. I've got it in the glove compartment. I got it in a backpack. I've got it in underneath the sink. I mean, this is the go-to first aid.
Gosh.
And I'll tell you an incident that happened out in the public, why you need to keep it in your car. All right. So this looks like about between a 7 and an 8. Yeah, that's between 7 and 8. Got that?
That's pretty good. Yeah.
Not too shabby. So, yeah, these are great to have because anytime you want to do a test, you can test it. So I was over at the I was at an event where I was doing reflexology, and one of the clients said, "Hey, yeah, I want a treatment," And so she goes to put her bike down and lock up her bike before she lay down on the grass. And she puts her hand on a post and a nail goes right into her hand.
Ooh.
All right. So she's getting out and blood and hurt. And I said, urine therapy would be extraordinary for that. That's so funny. I just heard about that a couple hours ago. I said, don't go anywhere. I got some in my car. Right. I got a 3-year-old in my car. So I come out and I spray it on her hand and it starts what do you call it?
Collapsing?
No,
Coagulating.
coagulating. It stopped bleeding. The pain subsided within 24 hours. She calls me back. She says it's healing.
God.
So you always keep it somewhere because you never know when somebody has an accident, a cut, a burn, a scratch, or goes into a seizure and has an epileptic fit or passes out, and you might be the person to bring him back to life.
Wow. Wow. This is becoming a responsibility greater than originally anticipated.
Yep. All right. Some other things you want to keep on hand all the time. You use these a lot.
Cotton balls.
Cotton balls. Soak them, put them in the ear, soak them, put them in the belly button. Some people will just want to sniff on these just so they either have the liquid or the essence coming up their nose. As a backup, you can have Q-tips. Some people wipe it inside their nose or their ears.
I'm about to improve my night ritual
Yeah.
and my morning rituals with these.
Awesome. Awesome.
Because these are easy. Q-tips, that's easy. Something
Yeah.
easy to do in the
Most
morning.
people have them. You have them around.
What is that thing? Oh, the scrapers.
Tongue scrapers.
Yeah.
Now, one thing you know about me, or you learn about me, is that seeing through the filter of a urine therapy practitioner and a therapist for all these years, I would go into the stores and I would just stare at things in the drugstores and in these different departments. And I would stare at it and I stare at it and going, that's not what it's used for. It's not just for cleaning ears of kids. These are used for basties and implants. And we're going to talk about that. So I would go in there and go, there's a lot of people have all that coating on their tongue. Why not just dip it in urine? And so I started adding this to my collection. Now, the bump up from, if I go too fast, slow me down.
No, you're good.
The bump up from an eye cup, and this came to me from George Johnson. And George Johnson, you're going to learn about him. He's out in Montana, and he was a Shivambu superstar before the world knew about him. He had Shivambu license plates on his car. He would go to public places like Yellowstone National Park, and at the entranceway in sidewalk chalk, he would put Shivambu is life. And he did all this stuff. Well, he came up with the next bump up from iCup, and that's swimming goggles.
Yeah.
And so you can knock out both eyes at the same time doing this.
Yeah.
Thank you, George.
And do you recommend fresh for that, or would that can some people tolerate aged in the eye? That's too much, right?
It's too much. I would dilute it
Like
or
the
use fresh.
yeah, the pH of the eye, that's got to be pretty tough on it.
It is tough, and it's gonna sting. You've already seen this guy. This is the pump version.
The mister, yeah.
And then you have the spray top version. Most people will aim at getting either cobalt, amber or cobalt blue glass. If all you have is plastic, and here's something that Harry learned from me. Harry says, well, people ask him all the time, should I not store it in plastic? Because he was storing his in plastic. I said, listen, Shivambu is more powerful than plastic.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It sterilizes what's ever in it. You're not going to get things. What about the guys in countries where that's all they got? Maybe
That's all they
Africa.
got.
That
It's just
doesn't
not a
solve.
it's just not a problem.
It's all in there.
We're always looking for problems.
Right. So use what you have. Dropper bottle.
Yes.
You can recycle things that you're familiar with, like
I do. I I have a whole bag where I just toss all the empties into
all
to
the time.
use for other things. The
This is a,
nebulizer. I gotta
this
get
is a mesh nebulizer, which means it runs it through a mesh screen, and the particulates are changed from liquid to vapor or a mist.
okay.
So this you can either use for nose, feathering it over the eyes, exfoliating the skin on the face. Not only comes with a mouthpiece, it also comes with face covers for adults or children.
Using that for lung cleansing. Yeah.
It's a direct way to get it into your nose. And when we get to the lung part and respiratory conditions, we'll start talking about compresses. You're also going to learn how to design treatment suggestions and why we call it general treatment suggestions, because we're not part of the medical world. And so we don't diagnose, we don't prescribe, but we make general treatment suggestions.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You got to get really clear about how you're framing your words when you talk to people. I've
Yeah.
had to really learn that. One thing people say, well, will it cure diabetes and cancer and COVID? I said, yes and no. The body does the work, and I'm never going to claim it heals anything,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because that sets you up for something you don't want to have. If someone says, is it good for this and that? The best answer, which is I've used for years, is I don't know about that. I can tell you what, that when I drink it, I feel better.
Right. Right.
You want to
Yeah.
keep it out of harm's way when you use your words properly. Put soaks.
This has been some of the greatest benefit that I have experienced. I went on a couple of month-long daily hour foot soaks,
Yeah.
and my feet have finally given me hope because I've had lots of fungus on my feet for, military days and all the things, and it has really changed the landscape of my feet. So I'm very happy about what I'm getting done there. In fact, I'm about to start back doing it again. I think it's going to take me about a year of consistency, just listening to my body. That's beautiful feet. Yeah, I've still got a few interesting
Baby skin,
things
lovely feet. No,
all the
no
time.
fungus, no rashes, no cuts, no scratches, no imperfections.
Yeah, baby feet.
I go barefoot 98% of the time on this island. You can go into any place in Hawaii barefoot. You can go into the bank, you can go into the church, you can go into the stores. There's only two places on Kauai that told me I had to wear shoes: Walmart and the library.
Oh, wow.
So I keep flip-flops in the car in case I have to go in. So, two more things. Let's see, I already showed you this.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
This you'll want to keep on the ledge in the bathtub or up on the shower. You're either going to use the sprayer or you're going to unscrew the top, and you can knock out 6 or 7 protocols while you're in there.
Gotcha.
And a very close, intimate friend.
The enema. Is that water? Is that a water heater bag or enema bag?
It's an enema bag that's silicone, not metal container. Is yours metal or silicone?
It's metal.
Okay. The whole idea is to have a kit, regardless
Okay.
of what you use. Um, Another thing I noticed when I was at the store is that there are things that are multi-purpose use, and if you're not looking, you won't see it. So one of the things is multi-purpose use is a shower cap, which you're not only going to use it for brain injuries and Alzheimer's, any kind of mental disorder, you'll make a compress out of it. You'll find a way to keep it on there so it keeps enough urine in there so it's constantly feeding your head area.
Oh, because there's a liner inside. That's
This one has a liner, right? So however you can get it to fasten on there, you can be doing a compress or a wrap over the brain area.
this,
You
this I gotta put somebody on this ASAP.
Are they going to join us?
No.
Oh, you're going to type to them. Okay, there's also two other things you can do with this. You can put them over your feet like surgical booties and have a mobile foot soak.
Ah,
You can also put your hands in there like a silicone glove and you can treat the hands. Right?
multi-purpose.
If you happen to be on Temu, if you shop at I get the crazy stuff at Temu. Mobile foot soak.
Yeah, I almost got those.
And they have the reflexology bumps on the bottom.
The only reason I didn't get them was because the my feet are too big.
Yeah, you got to size them right because when I asked the guy now what I've done with some companies is they agreed to send me samples so I can demonstrate them and they get uh, customers sent their way. Uh, this is too small for me, but I can still use it for demo purposes.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's a great idea. I wanted to do that because then I could go on my deckies. It's just easier. It's just easier than the pan, you know?
Yeah, so find some kind of slip-on. Maybe those slip-ons that people wear when they go into the ocean, like scuba shoes, whatever you want them. They're made out of rubber or soft silicone.
That's possible. That's a possibility.
And
That's worth the research right there.
last thing to show you, I do a lot of garage sales, and sometimes you find a treasure, and it's been in their family for so long you could pick it up for a song. Shivambukuzi. I learned about this at one of the retreats that I hosted. Uh, this was in Portland, Oregon. And somebody brought a jacuzzi and we put urine in it and put the bubbles going on. And it was like
Hmm.
fun.
I love it. I have one of those. I'm going to use it.
If you ever get a chance to either host or participate in a Shivambu retreat, I did one in Oceanside, California, and one in Portland. Somebody discovered a kiddie wading pool underneath one of the awnings at this retreat center. And we had 8 people putting their feet in a baby pool full of piss. And it was like, that's the most incredible community event I'd ever been.
All right, everybody line up, put your feet in.
Jump it in. Yeah. So that your imagination, feeds you all kinds of ideas. Any questions so far about what we've gone over?
No, everything's been good. I'm just taking as many notes as I can. Um,
And you can,
that shower cap thing has got me going for my client. Um, because he's got this plate in his head.
mhm,
And so it's hard to give him treatments on his head with
right,
anything else because it would interact with the metal. Urine, I don't have to worry about.
right. And it's in a plastic liner, so it won't be a conflict.
Not at all. Nope, that's good.
Wonderful. So these. Oh, the other thing which was introduced in the last class from one of the students is one of those roll-on tubes that people have essential oil on.
Mm-hmm.
It's about an inch long. It holds about a half an ounce of essential oil with a metal roller on the top. So during the class, she had hers filled with urine, and she just kept rolling it over her face, her temples, her cheeks.
I'm gonna go make one. I got a ton of rollers.
Use them. If you got any you can spare and send my way, I'll use them for demo purposes.
You got it. I'll see what I got. I know I got some somewhere. I gotta dig them up.
Time
But
to recycle.
this will be a fun project this weekend because I'm always looking for more mobile
Yeah.
options. Like something that I want to get is I gotta get a mobile capturing device.
For what
So
purpose?
that stores flat so that you can carry it in your pocket, but then you can whip it out, go to the bathroom in a public place, and go ahead and take your urine right on the spot. Because once you start doing this, I don't know if you had this problem, but I feel bad peeing in a way in the toilet. It
I
doesn't
can't
feel right anymore.
I can't tell you the last time I peed in a toilet and people wonder why I don't flush. I
I
go in the
don't,
bathroom and go, I didn't hear you flush.
I don't
Oh,
need to.
right. So some of the people in the community, they flush just so they go through the sound. And
So they
people
don't
are
have to
like,
hear any, no one even bothers them. That's smart. That's smart. See, that is the kind of intangible knowledge that we all could use, right? It's those little things like that, the subtleties to help you get over social inadequacies and situations like that, so that you
social.
don't have to feel uncomfortable and you don't have to do a whole lot of explaining when it's not the environment for that.
Two more things I forgot to show you.
Okay, what's that?
This is known as the hideaway. When it's in this position, it looks like a small spaceship. It's called a hideaway. And when you open it up, it expands into holding 23 ounces. And the new ones have a spout at the top you can drink out of it. So then you collapse it when you're done. So this goes in your backpack, your hip pack, wherever you go, you've got a collector. You can collect your water.
This is what I was just talking about, something like that. I might want to get some. I'm going to see if I can find something a little thinner than that, but I am going to buy that one.
All right, this is the smaller one. This holds 17 ounces. And what I've been known to do, this particular one has a drinking spout at the top. You can go out public with this puppy and nobody
No
knows.
one knows the half.
What's so cool about this lifestyle, Ken, is I feel like I'm a superhero or Superman. You go into the bathroom and you come out and you have more energy than when you went in, and you've got this little secret.
I was just thinking, I'm going in the bathroom like that guy, man, when he keep like, what is he on? Every time he leaves, he comes back happier. You know, what is he? Is he going in the
Fresh.
bathroom? They probably think you're bumping up on cocaine or something.
Yeah. So the other thing is, and I joined forces with this company, they developed the Peace Sport, and theirs does the same thing. It not only grows and you can hold, a lot more of the water, but they made the funnel so it's not gender specific. The ladies can use
Oh,
it,
because
the men can
that looks like one of those cups for the women in the front.
the funnels.
Wow, they're thinking.
And then when you're done collecting, you screw off the top and you drink.
What's that one called? The pee bottle?
It's called the Peace Sport.
Pee sport.
Yeah, you can get it through shivalifestyle.com.
Okay.
And so these guys, they what I attempted to do with these guys, and they didn't get the vision, the hideaway. I said, listen, if you guys will make these in yellow and put in our website address and put urine therapy does a body good, we'll sell millions because there's an untapped market they didn't even
Untapped.
untapped, and they couldn't get the vision.
They're messing up.
Yeah. So hideaway, Peace Sport.
I love them both. I need those in my life. When you're storing in your vehicle,
Yep.
what type of container do you typically keep in your vehicle?
I've got several things.
Okay.
I've got one of the pump tops,
Mm-hmm.
and it's the one I have in the car is 3 years old. That's for some real serious
Mm-hmm.
requirements. Um, between the driver's side and the passenger seat in the middle there, I've got a coffee cup, so instant collection right there. And then behind the seat, I've got a quart jar so that if I'm not looping, I can always start the collection in the back and then have that coffee cup ready for the next collection.
Yeah, I think I want to so I sense this vehicle kit necessity, like having a pump, a pump and a spray
Mm-hmm.
ability. Um,
Your first
maybe
aid.
even maybe I'll just go ahead and throw a dropper in there too. Pump, spray, drop, just so it's complete for every application.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll probably go ahead and grab the probably the P Sport or the Hideaway for the
Mm-hmm.
vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
So and buy the two different sizes so that one I can collect in, like just like you said, and the other one can just be storage.
Right.
I just have so much volatility with children. I don't want anything to break.
Right. So this is a good option for you.
For sure. Absolutely. This is good stuff.
So we're either the geniuses or the madmen because it's been integrated in us. I mean, I wouldn't think about not going a day or hours without having urine around me.
I don't want to, man, it's just making so much sense of I'm untapped. I have so many things that I have not tapped into.
There's a
Uh,
good joke in there.
I do a little regimen in the morning, but to get this situated all throughout your life is impressive. It's so impressive.
And what it does, and this is why I love teaching these classes and meeting with people out in the streets and everywhere. I'm even going to teach how to take this off the internet and take it public. And I'll explain here how I was able to do that in Boulder. Um, but it becomes so integrated with you, Ken, that your certainty and your confidence is at an all-time high. And when you have it so grounded and so much a part of you that hecklers and naysayers and critics bounce right off of you.
Yeah, yeah. I'm not even. I think I've always been that kind of guy
Yeah,
because to me it's about have you done it?
yeah.
Because the most things about wellness has to do with self-experimentation.
Mm-hmm. Personal.
So 90% of most people are just on the side of data. They're not on the side of action. They're on the side of data. I've always been way more on the side of action
Yep.
to get the best data,
Mm-hmm.
which is real life experience and like you said, that confidence that comes with it because you did it and you know how
Mm-hmm.
it affects you. You know what you feel.
Mm-hmm.
You know what it's like to go through the experience, not just in the data realm,
Right.
but you're crossing all the realms through
Mm-hmm.
experience. And
Mm-hmm.
that experience gives you higher intelligence than
Right.
someone who may have more knowledge.
Sure.
The knowledge that's restricting them from making a change.
Mm-hmm.
The knowledge that's making them combat something instead of trying it.
Right. And when you're walking the talk and you come up, you meet somebody, and just the fact that you're in this teacher position, you're going to have more and more people reaching out to you because they're scared and helpless in the medical profession. They've given up on it. Is that when you're walking the talk and you start introducing it to people, they'll notice you don't flinch. They'll notice
No,
that you're serious and that you mean business. And they'll go, he seems to know what he's talking about. I'll take it. I trust him. Let's do this.
yeah,
And
there's no need to waver here. Once you've crossed over into the truth, you have to stand for the truth. You have to. You have to stand for the truth, um, and not allow people to bash things
Mhm.
that can serve mankind so high and so
Right.
well.
Right.
Because that's the program. The program doesn't want this out. I
Nope.
said, come on, man. I said, and don't just think about regular medicine. I want you to think about every naturopath, holistic doctor, health coach, and all the things. This is a threat to everybody if they accept it as a threat. Okay. But
They
here,
see it.
the reality is, I work with people as a holistic doctor who do urine therapy. Now that I'm getting all this experience and deeper knowledge, I can then assess how well they're doing it.
Hmm.
Where are your gaps that we could fill? Where's the level of improvement that can happen in your urine therapy? Maybe they're only using it in one or two ways,
Right.
and they need a lot more. Like that was my first cup of 100% age urine. That's a 2 or 3 month old one right there.
Big
And
step.
as you saw, it was like amber, right? I don't know if you saw it, but it wasn't super dark, and that was 3 months. Um, so my
Darkish.
urine, for it to get dark, I've only had maybe 2 or 3 big 64 ounces in my whole experience. I've gotten super dark. So I think I don't know what that medicine
Will
I
do.
did what it did, but it was applicable.
So yeah, this is the nectar of the gods. This is the golden elixir. This is ultra-filtered plasma water. Some call it the nectar of immortality because it is what the alchemists back in the 17 and 1800s were doing to change base metal into gold. And they found that there was gold in our water, and they can convert it into white powder of gold, the elixir or the soma of immortality. I mean, the
Yeah,
deeper
we are tapped in, man.
yeah, this is the real deal.
I
So
think Dr. Brother Sage, I think this starting this is going to I see so many things releasing from my own personal protocols.
yeah,
And I can't wait to stop doing half the stuff I'm doing. I'm just
well,
gonna chug a way more urine.
you'll find out, and if you haven't noticed, that there's more and more people in the worldwide family now. I've been honored to have clients from every country. I mean, they reach out and they tell me all kinds of stuff. And the folks in India, they don't do supplements.
Yeah,
I mean, there's a lot of people, even in the modern world, in the Western world, who walked away from supplements, even their favorite superfoods, because most of those are isolates or are um, synthetic.
yeah, yep. It's not a lot. It's not easy to get safe supplementation. They all come with some level of risk. I say all um, because they all do.
Mhm.
There's always a risk with every supplement. It's about how long, how it was made, all the other constituents with it, what's your body appreciating or not appreciating at this moment. What are your tissues like in your body? Can they really do anything with this stuff?
And it absorb it. Yep.
Yeah, can it really take action? That's why, when you do find a supplement. So in my practice, I started liquid supplementation very early because I was already an herbalist and I always believed liquid was always the best
Hmm.
for the environment that we're in to help people recover
Yeah.
because everybody's digestion is messed up. It's the leading cause of all the diseases. So why am I trying to why am I trying to put more pressure on the gut that I'm trying to heal and I don't have the elements to heal it? So I keep putting these solid things into the gut that it can't break down but are supposed to heal it. Well, that's what the tinctures are for. That's what the liquids are for. That's what the teas are for, is
Yeah.
to get around all of that, right?
Yeah.
So
And not put any more strain on the body.
so it's all about assimilation and not creating more stress. So that's how I ended up working with ionic minerals through Carolyn Dean at RNA many years ago.
Hmm.
Was I was looking for a more effective solution. I said I knew right away that my clients weren't getting better on magnesium supplements because they can't break them down.
They can't use them. Yeah. Oh, the other thing is, and I worked at 6 major health food stores at the beginning of my career. I was the big nutrition consultant. I did the MLMs. I knew the industry inside and out. And sometimes you learn the dirty tricks that the manufacturer does not tell the rep, does not tell the store owner.
Mm-hmm.
There are things in those public, I can't say for all nutritional companies, but there are a lot of things that weren't on the label that were in the
Yes.
recipe.
Yeah.
And I've seen, and this still gets to me, is superfood companies start adding the word natural flavoring.
Doesn't make no sense. It makes no sense. It's not natural anymore. It's
It's
who are we
laboratory
kidding
made.
with this? It's like a bad joke, you know?
They compromised somewhere or they got turned. I don't know what it is.
It's money because it is a business. It is a business. So whenever there's a turn, it's money. It's like I teach my kids, just because you find a safe brand doesn't mean you don't read the ingredients every single time you buy it. I said, I need you to get this habit down now so that it's a no-brainer. Anytime you pick something up, you read it because companies get bought and sold every single day. And as soon as they do, their standards change, ingredients change, and what you thought was a friend is now a foe. Happens every day.
Well, the latest trap or the latest hook is all and I want to be kind to these guys, but there are the major health gurus that have docu-series, right? And they get everybody hooked in, and then they have them on programs, they have them on subscriptions, they sell them their formulations. And I've looked in some of those formulations and they're garbage. People got hooked on methylene blue, EDTA, C60. They don't know it's synthetic, but the nicotine idea, they did not look deeper into what these are because these guys are good salesmen.
Yeah, they are very good at it. And, they're good salesmen. People are looking for something new all the time instead of finding the thing that actually just works. Um, what's the new thing? That's the new thing. What's the new thing? Right? So everyone's
Everybody's
always
buzzing about
jumping
it.
for the new element, the new formulation, the new way that it's made. But, I had a client reach out to me. It's like, you had to check this company out. They got all these nutrients that you just put it in your mouth like a Listerine strip,
Yeah,
and it just dissolves and it gets into your mouth and blah 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 blah. I'm like, okay, okay,
I'll pass.
I don't want that in my body. She's like, really? I'm like, no, I don't know why I would want to do that. Like, what did they have to do?
Mm-hmm.
Because that's what I'm thinking. What did they have to do to get the product in that strip?
Yeah.
I'm sure that wasn't an easy thing to do with these nutrients because it's never really been done much before. So yeah, you guys are going to get high assimilation, but at what cost? And where is it assimilating? Because it's bypassing all your digestive processes, is it
And
not?
when does it stop? Because these people are taking these supplements year after year after year. Their medicine cabins are filled. I was that guy. You got nutritional supplements all over the kitchen cabinets and counters. And it just reminds me of my parents. They had all those drugs and all that stuff because that was their generation.
That's right. Because I just put down B vitamins. I'm like, no more B vitamins. I feel no different when I take them, and I take the highest quality B vitamin, whatever, and I'm like, my body doesn't need this at all. So we got off of that. We've been off a lot of things. The only things um, I do most days is I do Shilajit most days just to cover my bases for trace elements.
Great
And
mineral. Yeah.
yeah, and to get fulvic minerals. And and I still keep RNA around. I don't
Mhm.
take it every day like I used to, but I do take it maybe twice a week, just to ensure that I'm keeping my macro minerals at a high level because I'm a high performer. I'm
Mhm.
busy, 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 busy. But I have a feeling with the increased intake, I'm just not intaking enough of the age. I think if I intake more of the age like I did today, I will be phasing that out as well. So I'm actually really excited about the next few months right now. I'm very
Yeah,
happy I signed up for this, Brother Sage, and thank you for hosting it.
my pleasure. Um, yeah, the connection I made with my water is that when I'm doing anything throughout the day, I will look at the water. I go, you know what? And I might have told you this statistic. There's a university out of Canada. If I didn't send you the link, remind me. They've identified 5,662 ingredients in human urine. So what you've got here is the liquid health food store.
Period.
You got everything right here. So when you're thinking about food and you're staring at your water before you drink it, you're going, this is a much better option. This
Way
is,
better. It's a way better food, right?
I don't
And
have to break it down. It goes right here.
so, okay, so I was sharing with someone I was working with someone's father just for a consult because he was afraid of dying because he had AFib and he was having strong AFib symptoms. And so the doctors started doing their doctor stuff, regular allopathic doctors. They gave him drugs. Um, and he found that he may have this kind of, he was born with this kind of scar tissue on his heart. I can't remember the name of this so-called disease or condition rather. But the abbreviations were PDA.
Okay.
And so he's 70, right? And he's been plant-based for a very long time, but about 4 years, 3 or 4 years ago, he went through a 6-month juice cleanse. And I said, I think that's where things went wrong for you, where I think you put too much stress on your mineral balance through the long juice cleanse. And he's like, really? And I explained everything to him, broke it all down for him. And I said, because that condition you've lived with for 70 years and you never had a problem until now. What's more likely? That your body has stopped compensating for this so-called imbalance or issue with your heart, or your minerals are out of balance and your electrical potential is causing your heart not to fire appropriately. And he's like, I didn't think about it like that before.
Yeah.
Now, what if instead of focusing on juice cleansing, we were focusing on urine therapy cleansing? And I say that because two things get imbalanced with long-term juice cleansing. Your gut microflora gets all out of regulation because there's no fiber in the body, and there's no other constituents of bacteria or enzymes, just the enzymes from the fruit. That's all you're getting. And the nutrients. And the juice is quasi-acidic. So you're constantly having to buffer. And so
Yeah.
this will allow the body to come out of balance after a while. I said 6 months is just a long time to be on juice only. If we went on urine cleanses, they wouldn't be 6 months.
You wouldn't need to go that long, and you wouldn't have the problems.
We wouldn't do nothing but heal, 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 and purge. I love that when I drink my aged urine, within minutes, my gut is activated. I feel something and I hear something going on
Yeah.
down there. It's cleaning the house. It's going to work.
Yeah.
And so that's always a good feedback loop.
I love the gurgles. So let's go back to the Shivamba wisdom chart. I want to make sure you know these things, because I oftentimes will do a pop quiz every class to see if people integrated those wisdoms. The wisdoms shorten the understanding, so you get a condensed version of why these things work and what are the bullet points of your water.
Yes.
Number one will answer a lot of the questions that people will throw at you when you know they can figure this out. And you're going to get the people who ask you question after question after question. The very first item on this wisdom list is it's an intuitive water. It's an intuitive elixir. It comes with your intuition, which is a built-in guidance system. So when people ask, how often, what should I drink? Should I have it around if I'm doing allopathic medicine, recreational drugs, or what about food? You know, they can answer it for themselves. And as many as people reaching out to me, they want all these quick answers. I tell them, you can figure this out, or I'll charge you for a consultation. We can do that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So number one on the list is it's an intuitive elixir.
I think I've got, oh, do I have this chart, brother?
I would have emailed it to you.
I have a urine theory protocols chart.
No, that's the protocols. But Shivambu chart has Shiva. Well, I'll send it anyway.
Thank you.
Shiva wisdom to Ken. Today is the 6th. 25. Okay, number one, number two. Now, by the way, I know Martha Crispy wrote, her book is called Your Own Perfect Medicine, but since more and more people know that the medical community is fake, I don't use the word medicine much. So I'll use the word panacea, remedy, elixir, something other than the word medicine. Because I want people to get a different association with this water.
I like nectar. I like elixir.
Nectar's fine. Some use the
I
word
want to get it out. I want to get it as far away from medical terms as possible so that we get into healing terms.
Yeah,
The associations matter, you
they do.
know?
And
So
how
I
you
think that's very smart what you said there. It's like let's get away from medicine and
mm-hmm.
tonic and all those things. Let's call it something people can connect to
And relate.
different way.
All right, number 2. Shivambu alchemizes, sterilizes, or transforms anything it touches. Here's some examples. People will gargle with their Urine because they have gum issues, teeth issues, bad breath, coating on their tongue. And then after they've gargled it or held it for a while, they spit it out. And I would say, why did you do that? Well, it took out all the bad germs. And I'm not going to tell them the germ theory. It was debunked. But they, they go and spit it out. I said, well, it just sterilized everything that was originally in your mouth. It's now merged. It's now all the same panacea. Swallow it.
Yeah, because I see my instinct is to swallow it. And then I
Mm-hmm.
had noticed on in one of the groups or wherever, someone was saying, when they do pulling,
Yep.
that they spit it out afterwards. And I'm like, but why?
Yeah.
What's the point of spitting it out? You're just wasting urine at that point
Right.
because it's all neutral, it's all clean, it's all neutral, it's all good. Like there's nothing wrong with it.
I don't know. And they may still associate pulling with coconut oil. Okay. The other example is people say, well, I don't have enough urine collected to do a bath, which requires normally 8 to 10 gallons of urine in order to really do a full total body submersion into the water. I said, if you only have a quart, it's still going to sterilize the chlorine and the fluoride and the city garbage that's in there. Use what you got. It's now a homeopathic version of it.
That makes a lot of sense.
So that's a reminder for you as well as your students that they don't have to spend months and months collecting in order to do a bath. Or they can do what a lot of us do is just pee in the bathtub. That's what I love about this community is you can talk about things and be honest about things that you normally wouldn't say in other circles of people.
All right.
Admit they pee
Because
in the
well,
Go ahead.
that was a very good point for me because I've never done a bath because I never felt like I have enough. So the only thing I've ever done was just I would cleanse wash my body and
That's it.
then just spray
The rest.
saturate my body and just stand in the shower for a while and just let it do its thing.
Yeah.
And if I can get it, I just try to get it to dry as much as possible
Mhm.
and go from there. But I would love to soak in my urine. So now I'm going to do it with what I have. Just take some and pour it in my bathtub and go for it.
Right. And if you're someone like me, you use it so much. Uh, I mean, at one point I had 6, 7, 8, 10 gallons stored, but I wasn't as proactive as I am today. So I'm constantly either drinking it, doing enemas, putting it in the bath. And so having a big supply is not fitting in my lifestyle right now.
Facts. I feel the same, which is why I feel like I'm constantly in this little bit of not a struggle, but just calculation of, okay, do I want it internal? Do I want an enema? Do I want to bathe? Do I want to spray? Because I can't do it
Yeah.
all the time, because then I'll run out of supply,
Hmm.
right? So it's like this month I'll loop. Next month I won't loop because this is going to drag me through. It's going to start taking down some of my supply because I'm not
Sure.
replenishing, you know?
You could, if you were clever, is get the family to share theirs with you.
Oh,
You can double your supply really quick.
and so tell me a little more. Could you share more or later, or just let me know what are the principles behind being able to share urine?
Yeah, very simple.
Because our urine's designed for us, but it's still at the base the same thing.
It's universal in application. And sure, there's a blueprint, there's a cellular blueprint that the body's intelligence knows how to design remedies. Now, you know what stem cells are. They're non-differentiated, which means they're not given a task until the
Mm-mm.
body says, oh, we need new liver cells, eye cells, kneecap cells, whatever it is. So the only thing that's specific for that person may be in relationship to what they're going through, but it's still universal in application. And to prove that, I was influenced by Doc Mike Whittort. Have you heard of him yet?
Mm-mm.
Doc Mike Whittort, what an amazing gentleman. He is out in the field. He just turned 80. And if somebody says, I need a healing, he'll just go fly wherever in the world. He'll go to them. He'll drive his car from Chicago down to Colorado, down to Florida, whatever it takes. And he's a holistic health practitioner people call him Doc, but he's not a doctor. He's a naturopath. And he was teaching about the universal principle of it doesn't matter whose urine you use, and it doesn't matter if the person is well or healthy or not. So he would demonstrate by
The
drinking,
pee will be healthy.
the pee will be healthy. Exactly. And I can give some incidents. He would drink the urine of a client that had cancer, that had diabetes, right? And he got up to where he's had 50 different clients. He drank their urine. He says, I got the immunity power of 50 systems now. So I started doing that with my students back in Boulder. We'd have gatherings at the house, and one of my students shows up, and he brought himself a container of urine in his water bottle. I said, is that what I think it is? I said, yeah. Do you mind if I have some of that? So to his surprise, I drank it in front of him and in front of all these guests at the house to prove to them it's not going to harm me in any possible way.
No, no. You know what I like about that, because you're in that environment with someone else in the urine therapy, is because it's not a show of ego or a hat trick. You know what I mean? It's like, no, man, we're in the same community together. You guys need to grow up a little bit, mature in the process of understanding this on a deeper level.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that what you did was wake everybody up a little bit at another level. Wait a minute, we're missing out here.
Right.
Um,
And so we do this at the Shivambu Wellness retreats.
Very
You know,
cool.
I've had Matt Senna's, he's had mine. Um, Several people, we traded each other's water out. It didn't matter what gender, it didn't matter any of that stuff. Right? Guys will not be made more feminine, and women won't be more masculine. That's another myth that's out
They don't
there.
have to worry about atrazine coming in.
I'm not going to grow man boobs. I mean, that stuff's going to happen. I've even had couples who admitted to me, they said off camera, "Hey, I figure you can take this." And they're telling me about their golden showers, how they really
Mhm.
enjoyed it. It wasn't a sexual thing. It was very sacred, peeing on each other. I said, if it's in the right context, it's a beautiful thing if you can hold it in the right framing.
Yeah,
So you got to know who you're talking to.
yeah, and you got to be on that vibrational level um, as well. I think intention and thought drives behavior with elements
Mhm.
that we participate in with the body. So if we mentally or subconsciously um, think something is perverse, then it will be perverse.
In their mind, yes. So
Yeah.
um, here's an example of cross species.
Okay.
I visited a friend of mine. She was out in Arkansas and she would take urine baths. She was one a big proponent of it. She had gallons stored everywhere. So she had plenty in her bathtub. I got to get in her bathtub, but she would go out of the bathtub, go to the kitchen, grab something, come back, and her pit bull was splashing in the bathtub full of urine, drinking it, having the time of its life. And before this dog got into the bathwater, it had hip problems. It had hip pain. After 4 days of splashing and playing in the water, the pain was gone. So since then, she's been only serving urine into the dog's water bowl, and the dog would go through about 4 or 5 bowlfuls during the day, and it knew exactly what this is.
Yeah. He's like, this is healing me.
This is
This is,
what have you been holding back on me?
he's like, come on, man. You had this stuff the whole time. My hip's blowing out over here.
So
Right.
anybody who's got any kind of pet should be getting on this right away instead of going to a vet or getting medicated or any treatments.
I love it. I think I'll add that to the regimen instead of I was thinking about adding minerals to my cat's food. I'm just gonna pour some pee in there.
Oh, they'll know.
Yeah, I'm gonna pour some pee in there, and maybe that'll bring her even closer connected with the family.
Hmm.
Because I'm gonna ask the family to start collecting pee.
Yeah,
I think it's important for
it's a great, bring
them
awareness.
as well as for myself, because I think if they collect it, they go through this process at a young age. You know, my boy has a very strong affection against urine. He's
Mhm.
very against it. He's the one that needs it the most.
Yeah, he's the one who's going to be transformed the most too. Once
Yeah,
he,
he's when he gets it, he's gonna have the best experience because
what's
he's
his
the
age?
older Julian,
What's his age?
13.
13. I would love to see his generation being influenced by him.
They well listen, they all know I do it because I've always promised them there's something about your dad that I'm dadding in a different way than my dad dadded me. And
Yeah.
they're like, what's that? I said, I want to be close to you. I want to talk with you. I want to answer any question that you have. And I'll always tell you the truth, whether I like the answer or not.
Hmm.
And so they started asking me about the pee under the counter. They're like, Dad, so what are you doing with that pee? And I told them, I said, I'm drinking it, doing this and I'm doing that. And they're like, what? I said, I'm not dead. I'm happier.
Hmm.
I'm cleaner on the inside. I
Calmer.
said, I feel great. I said, would you want me to stop something that's helping me, that's not hurting anybody in the world? They're
Oh,
like, no, no. I was like, yeah, in fact, I want to spread this to the world. I want to spread it in my family, just like nutrition in my family. I said, you can't get better nutrition than this.
yeah.
It ain't out there. There's no better nutrition than this, guys. I don't care what food or herb or whatever it is, it can't beat this. And they're like, really? I'm like, no, man, because I generated this. This is God power stuff right here that
Yeah.
we all have this God power if we're willing to use it, embrace
Yeah.
it, love it. And not, I said, first is to get over fear. No fear. You can't have any fear with this. You got to let go of the fear. Um, and then once you're over the fear, it's from fear to endear. We
Oh,
go
I
from
like.
fear to endear. And now I don't ever want to go a day without it. And I feel weird when I'm in a public place and I pee in a toilet, you know? So I'm gonna get me some contraptions so that I always have something on me to be able to maintain my integrity.
Well, in the meantime, brother, when you go into the men's bathroom and you go into the stall, you got something to collect
I
in there.
got a hand.
I mean, just think about this, and I love pointing this out to the community. If they continue to ruin our food source with GMO, with chemtrails, with graphene, whatever it is, they can't stop us because as long as we can urinate, we can thrive on the planet.
Period. In fact, so I don't get mad about all the stuff.
I
I
don't either.
used to many, many years ago. But then you start to realize that, well, that's all their stuff anyway. That's the system stuff. I was born into the system,
Yeah.
and that's all the system stuff.
Yeah. And that's what they call food or
And
whatever.
that's what I said. So it's really about how you interpret what food is, because if this is food to you,
And it will be.
is not the universe trying to put us in the proper place? So they keep poisoning this food and that food, and then this food and that food, and then this food and that food. Well, what you'll be left with is yourself. And that might be the best thing for mankind.
It is the best thing. And Doc Mike came up with a statistic, and he claims that there are over 500 million people in 50 countries practicing urine therapy. Well, he gave me that statistic when we met 6 years ago. So that's increased.
I know it's increased at least 10, 15%, if not
Mhm.
more,
Mhm.
because COVID created curiosity.
Oh,
And
yeah.
and it's happening more and more right now because we're starting to see the beginning of the apex of
Yeah.
disease from this. Listen, I'm not getting easy cases these days. Everybody's showing up with hardcore stuff. There's some
Right. Oh, yeah.
accelerated this. They've got, you know, turbo cancers and all type of crazy things coming at me right now. But the same things hold true to heal the body, regardless of whatever conditions you have. The same principles hold true.
Yeah.
And this needs to be a principle that I got to start waking more of my clients up to go, I know your protocol is complicated. There's lots of pieces to it because you're
That's,
not drinking this.
yeah.
If you drink this, we could take all that crap away and just be patient. Drink that, be patient,
Mhm.
and
And,
watch great things happen.
right. So let's just finish this wisdom chart here.
Yes, sir.
All right. So it works regardless of gender, race, age, species, or even your thoughts about it. One thing I love about it is this water is so simple. You can throw your dogma and rules and obligations out the door. It's real simple. Just drink it.
Does the body good.
Just drink it. By the way, I got this copyrighted if you ever want to use it and run with it.
That's cool.
I found out that the milk industry, who used to say milk does a body good,
Mm-hmm.
they stopped that campaign. They switched to another slogan. It became public domain. So I grabbed it and changed it to urine therapy does a body good and did a self-copyright on it.
Very good. They had to stop using that slogan for legal matters, I believe.
Well, whatever it is, they moved into a new slogan.
Mm-hmm. Well, that was the slogan that was going to get them in trouble because there was too much scientific evidence that it did not do that.
Good.
It did not make the body good, so they were getting sued.
Oh, okay. Well, that's their karma.
It was well placed.
Yes. All right. A few more points here. Shivambu is an evolutionary or evolving, living, structured, activated, bioavailable water. Now, in my writings, you will read that I moved us away from using the terms aged and aging in relationship to our Orin, because when people hear the word aged, they think of losing power, getting older, getting weak,
Mm.
your body is falling apart. So we use the terms evolved and evolving because the moment you collect it, it's becoming more and more stronger and potent.
Yeah. The foot soak.
But so,
So I reached out to Nicholas. I was about a week or two into it, and I've been using one 64-ounce bottle every day, the same
mhm,
one for a week straight. And then I would put it away, recap it, and put it away, and put a date on it.
mhm.
And I was telling him, well, we were just catching up, and I was like, yeah, I'm starting to soak my feet and doing all this stuff. He goes, how many times are you using it, and blah blah blah, and you just toss it out. I said, I don't toss anything out. I said, come on, man, this thing will regenerate itself, right?
Oh yeah.
He's like, yeah. I said, and I've seen it happen already. So by the time we spoke, I think I'd already seen it because you can see the energy change and the color change a little bit from multiple uses on the feet, right? So it's
Mhm.
getting this muddier look to it, a little less glowy and all the things. And I'm like, okay, so I put a date on it. 2 weeks later, remember, this is just under the sink, under my sink. I don't have any cool place to store it or for it to get sunlight or even to breathe. I have to cap it so no one smells it. I'll be darned if within a week of capping it, it was already turning back to a golder, prettier, lighter color than it was before. So yeah, I was like, yeah, I'm not wasting my urine, man. I'm not throwing 64 ounces of urine down the drain because I put it on my feet for a few days.
Yeah. Well, what you're reminding me of, and I have to write this down for the new version of the chart. Shivambu is a consciousness or has a consciousness. And the reason I say that is because some of the Hawaiians had been teaching me that the ocean is a living entity. It has consciousness.
Absolutely.
And when you spend time with a huge body of water, you feel its presence, its power, its strength, its vitality. When I'm breathing in the sea breeze, when it comes through, I can feel plasma, mineralization
Yeah, you're connected to that saline
all the time.
connection.
Before I jump in the ocean, I give praise to it and I bow down and I take some in my mouth to form a relationship with it. And it's a
Well,
living consciousness.
I think all the sea water is pea water.
Yeah, I know. You got fish pissing.
I'm like, it's all fish pee. And they're
Yeah,
like, what? I'm like, well, they got to pee and poop in here. So they're
somewhere.
quite salty. That's, why I said salty. It's just pee. It's urine.
I love it. I love it. So, okay, we're almost done here. Practicing saturation dosing with urine therapy speeds up the healing process faster than drinking it. And when we get to the protocols, you're going to learn about saturation dosing. Is this a new concept to you?
That's new. I don't know what that means.
Most people, just when they first hear about it, and still people who've been practicing it for a while, all they know is to drink it, right? So they don't know about the topical protocols, of which there's
Hmm.
24 of them. So by introducing more topical protocols, doing more looping, you're going to drive a lot more nutrients not only into the cells, the interstitial fluids, but to all the organs, all the systems, to the nerves, to the lymphatics, than you would just drinking it, which is fine. Um, but there's an accelerated version, and that's to start doing saturation dosing.
Okay. So saturation dosing means just employing as many of the modalities as possible to use it in more ways.
Right.
Like I love to use it on my face every day. And like when my hair is short like this, I put it all through my scalp every day. And then now I'm using droppers to go on the top of my head,
Mm-hmm.
um, to place the urine on my scalp as well. And I think I just my hair grows incredibly fast already.
Yeah.
And I've only been doing it for a month. And my loctician was like, "What's new? Because your hair is even longer. What's going on?" And I'm like, "I'm just amplifying my protocols." And my body is just like, "Yeah, bring it on. Let's go."
Yeah. My hair follicles, and they know what they need, and I'm giving it to. Yeah. So saturation dosing, I always felt that if you're just drinking it, that's like fine, but that's like slow improvements. It's like putting on a Band-Aid, but if you start adding eyes, ears, nose, mouth, belly button, enemas, etc., foot soaks, then you're amplifying the power of the water to go everywhere.
What's your thoughts on enema, daily orange enemas?
I think it's an intuitive thing and it's a personal choice. When I thought I had intestinal issues and prostate issues, I did one every day for 2 years. Didn't hurt.
I
I
so
wasn't addicted.
so that may keep me back on the train of just continuing to do it. I just felt like I'm not hurting anything,
No,
and I've got so many years of reversal to do from the old lifestyle. When people say, if I started my wellness journey 15 years ago, but I didn't really get into cleansing my body
till.
until 5, 6 years ago.
Hmm.
I've got a lot of years
Yeah,
to go deep into these tissues, right? And so um, I committed to a year daily. I mean, I'm sure I'm going to miss some here and there, right? But commit at least to a year. And you said 2 years, and I think that sounds good. I don't think that
yeah.
sounds crazy at all.
I
Uh,
even took my enema bag with me when I traveled.
so I need an enema. I need a travel bag.
I like the silicone ones. They're very simple. They can fold up. You put them in your suitcase anywhere.
I love just how awesome urine is that we can put it in anything and it doesn't matter. That
Yeah.
I'm not worried about BPAs and all the crap.
Oh yeah.
Every time you do something, you know, you got to go through the checklist. And with urine, it's like, no, pack it up and take it and use it. Pack
Yeah.
it up, take it, use it. That's it.
go somewhere, collect it. That's a neat thing to give you some reassurance and peace of mind is you never have to wonder if you go somewhere if you can go find it in a store. Or you're like, do they have it available in this town? No, I pack it with me. And I get a notification goes ding ding ding, your bladder's full. It's time to
Yes, it's time to collect some elixir, some nectar.
So, a few more points here. There is no such thing as an incurable disease.
Yes.
If you divide the word apart, it means incurable. So it means to cure from within. The whole idea about the incurable idea came to us to the people who were black magicians who wanted to hook us into their system to take their protocols and go to their surgery. And there's no such thing. Everything has been healed and is still being healed. And the first thing I would do if I was you, you probably already know this, when a client comes up and they're scared, they're feeling helpless, and they think they have that the God singled them out as being the only person that can't
Yeah,
be healed because I've got this form of cancer or this form of. I said the first thing you want to do is drop your identity with the label.
absolutely. Let it go. Stop owning that.
Right. So what basically is your body's going through one of the cycles. It's either in restoring, repairing, regenerating, or detoxing, purifying, and cleansing. That's it. There's
That's
no
it.
there's no
Nothing
other.
else to this body but those things. Oh my
So
God.
so we want to get them out of that fear factor
I love it. I
because
love
that
it.
alone is causing problems.
Absolutely. We have to get them out of the name game. And the because the name game comes with all types of accessories,
And
you
hooks
know,
and yeah.
and
But
specific diets that don't work and so many other things.
yeah, the universal, yeah, one diet does everybody. Um, let's see. The only thing you cannot heal is what you believe you cannot heal.
Mhm.
I spent a lot of time working with people's belief systems, and I got to the point now, brother, that I can run into someone in the streets, and they started telling me things, and in seconds, I know their belief systems, I know their patterns, because they're blind spots. When you say it all the time, you don't hear it.
Yeah, you don't hear all that weird stuff that's not even real. You're like, they've told this story so many times. Their subconscious has told this story so many times. That they can't hear the ignorance in what they speak. And
Mhm.
that's interesting that you said that, brother, because my very first client was my very first web designer. So I
Yeah,
met him at a coffee shop after emails and stuff, and we sit down and start talking. And he goes, "Man, I've never worked with anyone who was in the health business because I'm a diabetic." This guy didn't introduce himself yet.
and he told you what he was.
Yeah, he told you this is my name. My name is diabetic. And so I let him continue to talk, and then we got through with our stuff. And I said, "Hey, um, I want to share with you some things." And I brought that up to him. I was like, "How long have you lived under the
Label or
the thumb?
the thumb.
How long have you lived under the thumb of diabetes?" And he goes, "What do you mean?" I'm like, "Oh man, it's got you."
Yeah, you're hooked in.
I said, I said, and I explained, I walked back through the introduction. I said, "That's what you gave me. I only know you as a diabetic. I don't know you as a God-fearing man. I don't know you as a husband. I don't know you as a son, a friend, a father. You introduced yourself to me as diabetic." And it blew his mind.
Good.
He signed up. He called me the next day. He goes, "I know we haven't closed the deal on your website. I don't even know if we're the best option for you yet, but you're the best option for me. I want what you got because I'm tired of being diabetic."
Yeah. Now, because I teach that and it's in the inescapable book, I've gotten to a point where after after working with the clients, we've had several sessions where they went through a quantum healing in one conversation.
Oh my Lord. Wow.
And this is how quick the sentence stems work. I mean, for example, did you get to the part in the book, sentence stems?
No, I haven't gotten there in the book yet. No.
All right, a sentence stem is an incomplete sentence in which you'll write the first half of the sentence and then you'll complete the rest of the sentence with either what response your emotions and your subconscious gives you, or you'll change it so you have a different result in life. For example, if someone says someone says, oh, I have a problem with health, finances, relationships, uh, standing in front of a group, whatever their trigger, their challenge is, I remind them that came to you up until this conversation when we're talking in the here and now.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So if you start using the next sentence stem, which is I'm open to the possibility, and complete that sentence with how you prefer your life to be. I'm open to the possibility of having a radiant, healthy, strong body. I'm open to the possibility of being free from financial concerns. Then the universe can come in and start making those shifts. And that
Yeah.
is your new default setting and your new truth.
Yeah. Well put, brother. That's nice.
Okay. And then the other sentence stem, I got a whole list of them, is I choose to know. And the reason that's in there, because every time you say, I don't know this, I don't know that, you're telling the universe you don't want to know. So when you choose to know something, guess what? Knowingness shows up.
It comes.
All of a sudden you knew something because you previously resisted it, the knowing.
It's all yours for the taking.
Mhm.
You just have to choose to have it.
You have to choose to have it, and choose your words right, and you will get the results you prefer instead of being a victim.
Well done. Well said.
And the last thing on the list is that Shivambu is a category all into itself, which I've already said. So that's the wisdom chart. And I'll be sending you that.
Okay, that's cool. I can't wait to have that. Um, yeah, was this the first session? I couldn't figure out if I missed one or not. All right, I'm on time. This is good.
So our other student, his name goes by the nickname of Waza. He's in Japan, and he didn't make the class, but he can watch the replay, and hopefully he'll get in on Thursday.
Well, Waza, hello to you, brother, and good luck if you're watching this replay.
Sayonara or whatever.
Sayonara.
So um, I'd like to do a pop quiz on the Shivambu wisdom charts in most of the classes to see if anybody's actually studied the material, learned some of this stuff, and can start applying it in their life.
You can pop quiz me anytime. I'm ready.
Thank you. All right. Let's see. You don't have the manual. Do you have the manual hard copy or PDF?
I don't have it in front of me.
No problem. I'm going to switch to page 11.
Another.
Page 11 is what part does faith play in urine therapy? Now, when we work with the 4 aspects of wellness, the holistic model that makes this work, which is mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual, the things that bring the results, the things that assure or guarantee results is faith. All right. The people who have the faith and the people who are committed to doing the work, you see this with your clients, are the ones that get the results. They will put all their resistance aside. They'll follow your advice to the letter. They'll work this until they get better. Those are the ones I love working with.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
So it's faith that gives you added strength, added courage, added power. And you could call that faith in the divine, faith in source, prime creator, God, whatever word you like. And that gives you like a power team of spiritual masters working with you. So this is why it's in the book. If you didn't already know that the origin of Ayurvedic medicine was based on urine therapy.
That
And
makes that makes total sense.
yeah, and a lot of Ayurvedic practitioners studied that. They know that.
And
They
they
don't.
hide it.
They hide it because they're afraid it might ruin their practice.
I knew it. 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 I'm so glad to get this confirmation today because not abandoned. I studied Ayurveda for 2 years on
Right.
my own, right? Um, and once I got into urine, and I quickly realized there's a lot of people that use it in India,
Oh yeah.
I went, why do we have this huge book on Ayurveda?
Yeah, it's huge.
I was like, why do we have this huge book on Ayurveda and it's so complicated and all these herbs and all the things, right? There's just so much to learn. And so part of me as my practitionership is to, what I promise every client is this. My job is a little different than most. They're like, well, what's your job? I said, my job is to make you independently healthy. I need to replicate myself in you so that you don't need a practitioner,
Mm-hmm.
that you have confidence, control, and discipline, and you
Mm-hmm.
take action and
Mm-hmm.
you research on your own,
Right.
because that's what creates the biggest faith and belief.
Right.
I said,
Yeah.
right now, your faith and belief is only 40%. I'll
Mm-hmm.
take what you can give me because your faith is more in what your faith right now is in my ability, not necessarily yours.
Right.
And through this experience, I want you to see that the entire time it was always about you and it was never about me. And they're like, and so by the time we get to 6 months or a year, most of my clients are with me for a year these days. Um, and I say, do you see how you are now versus how you were before?
Mm-hmm.
You're telling me things that you had no privy to before. The way you analyze when I, do a lab or something, I've taught them how to analyze it, right? And they're like, wait, no, that's a little different than that. And they start teaching me, and I go, I'll just listen. I said,
You've
all
taught
right.
me how to fish.
I said, this is what I'm talking about. You got this. You don't need me. It's great to have me as a
Mm-hmm.
compatriot, as a partner, as a brother, but not as your doctor. You've always been the doctor.
Mm-hmm.
You have always been the doctor. I've just let you into an institution that allows you to be the doctor. And then they
Yeah.
get it. I said, because you've never done anything here that you didn't agree to. Have you? They're like, no. I said, there was even some things that you didn't agree to that we didn't do. Yep. I said,
You're
that's
helping
the
them,
role.
you're helping them to unplug from someone who has been set up as their authority for their body.
That's
They know
right.
very little about them, their lifestyle, or their body.
It's so good. It gives me goosebumps to see that transition happen for people. It's just amazing to go, man, we have all the power. You just got to own it. You got to step into it. It's a
Yep.
responsibility, but man, once you got it, life is easy. They're like,
Mhm.
easy. Oh, easy. So easy. You're not all out here freaking out about what this person said or what that person said or what this study said or what that study said. You don't care anymore.
Mhm. Yeah. And you can get your body back a lot faster than anybody's ever told you.
So much faster. I believe that if I can get my clients deeper into Shimbambu
Okay.
earlier in the process of them working with me, that I'll be able to take 1 year healing transformations and cut them in half.
Yeah. I have guys that go one session, they're ready to go, and others commit to 5 or more. It's all in their timing.
Yeah, this is so good. This is so good. I'm very I don't know, I'm just very charged up about doing this. And you really opened the door for me to saturate, to just go ahead and saturate and live in that saturation as my primary tool of health.
Your go-to.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and don't worry about the ammonia smell because it does evaporate and outgas sooner than most people realize.
Is is the ammonia technically a good thing? Because I remember, I don't think it was you mentioning something about just being in a place where you can breathe it, right?
Yeah,
So when I
totally.
do my foot soaks, I have to work at the same time. So I bring my laptop into my bathroom shut the door.
Mhm.
There's no windows. I don't turn the fan on, and it's right under my feet. So I pour a whole half gallon into over my feet, and
Yeah.
it just permeates. And so I practice breathing just through the nose and focus breathing while I work,
Hmm.
taking it in. And I will tell you, man, I have gotten high. I have literally gotten high off my urine. After I'd forgotten I was in there for an hour and a half, and I came out and and I hit some fresh air, and I went, holy smokes, I'm the buzzed.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
I've gotten buzzed off of my own smell, my own aroma.
Well, at our last wellness retreat, which is in Portland, Matt Senna decides to do something I never experienced before, and I was, I was against it. He decides to put 2 quarts on the stove and boil it. And what we ended up doing was putting a towel over our head and creating this little sauna effect where we were
The steam.
the steam and the smell going up inside our head and through our nose.
Now you scratched your head twice while you were talking about that. Did it make your head itch inside when you did it?
When I did the sniffing that way,
When you did the sniffing, do you recall when you did it if it tickled the inside of your head?
it probably did. I have to go back and remember. I just remembered how great I felt. Before I had this issue about it, you shouldn't boil it because it kills the enzymes and it should be like a living food.
Mm-hmm.
But I couldn't stop and notice that it worked. It's just that the part of making the tent, you don't have to boil it, but being underneath, and having it come up the fumes.
I love that.
And you could just tell people, even if you're not ready to suck it up your nose, you just snort it and just get the fumes, get the smell of your essence.
Mm-hmm.
Get
Start
acquainted.
learning, start becoming comfortable with that smell and not thinking that it is a negative smell.
Yeah,
You've got to start teaching your brain that this is a positive thing. This is a positive smell. You've been
right.
programmed to go against yourself your entire life.
Hmm.
And I told my wife, I said, think about it. You know, when she brought it up, I said, think about it. Why do you pee on your feet? I know you're from Florida. Why do you get stung by a jellyfish? What happens? She goes, you pee on your feet. So, but why would you pee waste on your feet? Why would you use waste to heal your body?
If it's waste.
Just like that. Said you wouldn't rub your turds on your feet, would you? She's like, no. It's like,
No,
so why is there a thing about peeing on your feet? It's known worldwide. Is it because it's sterile? Yeah. So it's
hmm.
sterile. So how can it be waste if it's sterile? What waste element do you know that's sterile waste? Please show me the sterile waste in the world.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, the other thing I would say, well, if you've got a jellyfish sting and you peed on it and it switched the pH to alkaline and there's no effect of it, what other skin applications could it be used for? What about, now see my skin? I went
Your
out
skin looks great.
I went out with a friend 2 days ago. He's visiting. He's a student. He's visiting. We spent 3 hours talking, swimming, hiking along the beach, and I was just fried. And so I just started putting on urine, right? I come home and stink goes
Mhm.
away in 30 minutes, and the richness of the tan starts to show up.
Beautiful, beautiful. That's amazing.
I
That's
used to
amazing.
go I used to go to hot springs with my friends back in Colorado. And before it was a clothing optional place, so before we go into the hot springs, they're putting on sunscreen, whatever that garbage is. And I'm just smiling away. And 2 hours later, they're still hurting. And I have a tan and I've got no hurting. And I'm going, well, urine is doesn't have any chemicals in it.
Nothing to burn.
Nothing to burn. And you got that. So these are good things to remember, particularly in those situations.
Heck yeah. You got to use it on the skin. You got to use it as a sun
Screen or repellent
enhancer.
enhancer. Yeah,
It is a sun enhancer for the body.
it's very much a sun enhancer. And I mean, any skin condition, whether it's eczema, whether it is a burn, whether it's a scratch, whether it's Have you ever seen, let me bookmark this. Have you ever seen capillary bursts?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
These kind of things?
Yes, sir.
Right. 4 days of putting on urine, it heals every time. This is day 2. It's already
Wow.
gotten lighter. So the guys who
Listen.
have thin skin and they barely brush up against something and their arm discolors, urine will heal that in 4 days.
Yeah, I have one of my clients was he crossed over in his nutritional balance
Hmm.
and became irregular with zinc, I believe. Um, no, it was the niacin. So the niacin was actually overwhelming his system to the point to where he was bruising really
Hmm.
easy. And so we dialed it back, and now I can tell him that I just got him started into urine about 2, 3 months ago. Um, and his wife as well is interested to get started. And I'm like, guys, you've traversed through functional holistic medicine
Yeah.
because that's what you could accept.
And you've
And
been
now
ready
you're
to,
crossing into true self-healing and self-regulation with your own water and fasting. Um, so now you're in full control. Those things are transitional tools to get you to this state. That's how I use functional medicine and nutrition and stuff like that. They're transitional tools.
right.
We all have to go the same place
Hmm.
if you want the optimal life. You want optimal life, you got to do the same thing that everybody does here that wants optimal life and to be here for a long time and to feel young the whole time and to look good the whole time. Then you've got to tap into things that you've not been taught and that have been hidden from you on purpose. And once you realize it's not hidden, you just haven't been looking for it. You didn't know what to look for.
Right.
And once you find it, it's unstoppable. And so he started the urine 2, 3 months ago. It opened up, it opened up his mind to seek breatharianism at certain levels throughout his
Hmm.
life. He goes, I'm 77 now, and this whole breatharian thing, I would have never been able to open up to. He goes, but because of the urine, he's opening up to it
They
because
look
he
up now.
he's a 50 plus year old. I'm sorry, he's 77 now, but he had a 50-year-old practice, holistic dentist who wasn't holistic when he first started. He transferred over about halfway through his tenure
Hmm.
into holistic dentistry. And so he likes lots of data. So I'm like, here's the books. I got him your book. I got him Harry's books, a couple of books. I said, here's a few books to start, and I'm going to share a file with you of all the stuff I've been collecting for a few years so that you can just dig in and see all these resources at your fingertips to do your work. But here's what I'm telling you. This will be the best self-study you've
Hmm.
ever done in your life. This is the best self-study you've ever done in your life for your health. And he came back, he goes, you're not even kidding. He goes, I'm expanding. He goes, I'm literally expanding with this new knowledge. And he started doing the basics right away. Then he started drinking. And then he goes, I prefer to drink when I'm eating perfect. And I go, I know, that's how it is in the
Yeah.
beginning. And then you're going to see that you just won't want to miss a drink, even if you didn't eat perfect yesterday. Because guess what? He goes, what? You will be perfect once you drink it.
And your choices will be better.
Yeah. I said, well, when you drink that urine and you made the mistake yesterday, you will have made amends by drinking your urine today. And to him, that was mind blowing. I said, when I got that for myself, it takes away the perfectionism in wellness. It takes away um, the stress load that comes with your protocols because you're never going to do everything perfect all the time. And what's great is Shimvambu is the master equalizer of imperfection. It just balances it all out. So you
Mhm.
were more stressed, more angry yesterday. You lost your temper a little more than normal. You ate off plan a little bit or whatever. Your body knows all that because it was all hormonal, happens all through the blood, right?
Can't fuck it to the body.
So guess what are going to be in that in the jar that next morning? It's a bunch of gifts to
Mm-hmm.
fix yesterday's burdens.
Mm-hmm.
It's a
Yeah.
that's amazing. That just makes me so happy when I say it. It makes me happy because I know it's real.
Yeah. Yeah.
So cool.
I love the way you frame that for the people who are still beating themselves up for making bad food choices or
Oh
whatever
yeah.
it was, that the body has unconditional love for you. The body has ultimate forgiveness for you and is giving you the answer to what you did to yourself. So
Yeah. Oh my
lighten
gosh.
up, guys.
That's so cool. That's just I'm so grateful. I'm just so grateful for this experience.
Me too. And I feel that way every day. As a matter of fact, every time I drink, I say a little prayer. Acknowledge it.
Mm.
What is your hold on, I'm looking at my notes here. Tuna saturation dosing, page 32. Are we there yet? Page 32 to 39.
Oh, and by the way,
Yeah.
it is now 5:40 my time,
Okay.
and I have no desire to eat.
Right on.
I haven't eaten anything today, and I have no desire to eat. Well, I did eat.
You did eat. And you might need some more of that. So there are several words for urine. Some people call it orin. I'll explain where that word came from. Some call it orina in the Spanish-speaking countries. In Nigeria, they call it ito, I-T-O. There's a sister named Stampana Osentosi who lives in Botswana who asked me to come there to be a guest speaker at a urine convention, but COVID showed up, so everything changed. She calls it juice. And in her language, in her culture, what that means is it's your juice. It's
Yeah,
you juice.
good juice.
Um, let's see. In Hawaii, they call it momi or mami, however you want to pronounce it. In India, Dr. Rajshak Mal Lodha, who was a mentor of mine for quite some time. Him and his wife have been practicing urine therapy for 55 years. So, I bow to that. He calls it Lodha Cola, which is totally fine. And I call it orange juice or OJ.
OJ.
Now, the term orange came to us from someone you may have heard about, and he's well worth studying, is Andrew Norton Webber.
Mm-hmm.
Andrew Norton Webber brought to the world the teachings about not only urine therapy, but also distilled water. And he let us know that there are 4 types of distilled water. And to be the perfect water for the human body, it has to have structure to it. And
Mm-hmm.
say, well, what does that mean? Well, if you look at it under magnification, you can see the crystalline forms, the geometry, the sacred objects, everything that's in the crystals inside under extreme magnification. There's a gal on Instagram who's one of my former students, Fiona Gardner, and it's well worth looking under messages in urine. That is her Instagram page. And she's got one of those electron microscopes, and she reveals to the world all the different shapes and symbols that are in the magnification of urine. And some of them look like a Merkaba, sacred geometry. They look
Wow.
like stars, they look like angels. And she's really helped open a lot of people's eyes to that. So the 4 types of distilled water, according to Andrew Norton Webber, and I'll get to where he came up with the word orin in just a minute here, are urine, distilled water, rainwater or glacial water. You could also include seawater and fruit juice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so I'm always telling people who think that their water system is, the perfect water. Yeah, they got reverse osmosis. They got activated charcoal. They've got a $5,000 Kangen alkaline machine, which loses its strength after about 2 hours. And I said, you know, structured water is the closest thing to the body.
Yep. This is
So
it.
that's why I'm always telling that. So he came up with the word urine because the word urine uh, was taught to us at a pivotal moment in our human history. This is when they started demonizing urine therapy.
Mm.
The date is significant in history because it changed everything on the planet. 1917 was the foundation, the start of the Rockefeller Foundation. That's when they decided to control healthcare, education, uh, and every possible system on the planet. They had their hands on it, and they started going after all the competition, chiropractors, naturopaths, urine therapy. So they started demonizing anything that would affect their income.
Absolutely. Their ascension.
Exactly. So when people say, well, urine is disgusting waste product, well, you know, we were indoctrinated to think that way back in 1917.
Absolutely. Wow.
And so before that, it was common for people would do urine therapy, and it was in the medicinals back in the 1900s. It's in the beauty and skincare product today because of the urea. It's in Murine and it's in healthcare and beauty care products. However, they hide it under a medical term. Carbamide is the word they use, so people don't know there's urine in their skincare product.
What's it called?
Carbamide,
Carbamide. Mm.
Carbon, carbamide. If you look it up, if you ever go look at products on the shelf, I've spent a lot of time looking at products on the shelf. You see the word carbamide, it's just a cover for urea, which is urine. The lights
So
just, yeah.
people started recognizing urea in the products.
Yeah.
So now they changed the name. It makes sense.
If you take the
Because
word
if these ladies, because I tell the ladies all the time,
yeah,
right? Well, they're like, like when I'm interviewing potential clients, they're like, your skin looks so good. And I'm like, yeah. They're like, so what's your beauty secrets?
yeah,
I was like, you really want to know? They're like, yeah. I was like, I cleaned up the inside and then I started applying um, the key ingredient to your skincare products directly from source to my skin. And they're like, what's that? And I was like, well, name a product that you think is the best eye cream or whatever.
yeah,
And so
beauty care.
I said, if you go look at it, I'm pretty positive it's got urine in it because all the best ones do.
Right.
And so I just use my own urine. And they go, oh my God, no, it's crazy. You wouldn't ask me to do that and blah, 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 blah. I said, I don't have to ask you to do anything. I'm just sharing with you why my skin looks so amazing.
Yeah.
That's all. And you're putting somebody else's pee on your face when you're using those products, by the way.
Yeah, in case you didn't know.
It's either an
Um,
animal pee or human pee. I don't know. But somebody's pee.
More than likely, here's the two sources of where they get urine that they use in these skincare products. Number one is pregnant mares, horses' urine, pregnant
Hmm.
horses' urine, and it's an inhuman thing to do. It's the animal rights activists should be jumping all over this. They have to keep the horses pregnant
For the urine?
for their urine, so
Oh
that
my
they're
God, this is
constantly
just
getting
as
them.
bad as milking.
Yeah, same kind of thing. And then the other source of urine is from public uh, outhouses, from those porta potties. And if you ever notice, there's the standing area that a guy can pee in, and then there's the seat area. Well, if you go there next time, notice that if you should pee in this left side, you never see it come into the blue dye into the toilet area because there's a separate compartment. They collect it and then they resell it to the skincare industry.
Hmm. Makes sense. I
So it
mean,
makes a lot of money.
it's nothing better than being able to collect a free product that has a high value to it and then sell
Oh,
it at 100% profit.
yeah. And why do you think you see these porta potties everywhere? They're just, why rent them? Just put them out there.
That's amazing.
There was
And
this guy, there was this guy in Paris. This video, I may be able to find it. I've not seen it in a while. They have these standing porta potties in Paris where it has 4 or 5 different little cubby holes inside it where a guy can stand there, pee into a trough publicly. Nobody can see him doing that, but that's what he's doing. Well, there was this one guy who was caught onto it. I'm not sure if he was a genius or a madman, but he would put a used coffee cup inside the trough. So when guys would pee into the coffee cup and walk away, he would grab the coffee cup full of urine and drink it.
Brainiac.
I
Brainiac.
thought it was brilliant. So,
That's super smart.
and I've never seen this in anywhere but in Paris, where they have these public urinals without having to have a bathroom or a facility. Leave it
That's
to the French.
interesting.
I leave it to the French to
This
do.
is old. This is such old old information. Just ancient. This is ancient. And so when you think about the world of how much has been hidden from us in this world, like this is so big. It's so big. It's just how it's been around forever, and then
Yeah.
it was silenced in our country. It was silenced, was completely muted here in the U.S.
Mhm.
And probably most of all the European countries, I would imagine, follow similar um, brainwashing. So
It's more significant in terms of what was being hidden from us than Tartaria
for sure, because this is so personal,
or
and
even Flat Earth.
yeah, I mean, this is bigger than all that to me because this gets down to your ability to be here for as long as you want to be here.
And now there's a chapter in the book in which I got the vision of the future of this water and of the movement. And some of the things that were in that vision back in 2017 have already come true. When it comes to the point where this becomes the new paradigm and the tipping point, we've already crossed it in my mind. When we get to the point where it's critical mass and you can't turn around, then you're going to say goodbye to funeral homes. You're going to say goodbye to hospitals and medical clinics and assisted senior places, recovery groups. A lot of stuff that's been put in place in our infrastructure is going to go away.
Think about this, Brother Sage. Think about how people will free themselves from working in shitty jobs they hate because they're only there for medical benefits.
Benefits, yeah.
That's the only reason they're there when all we really need is emergency care, which is free for the most part. That's
Mhm.
it. Go into the emergency room with a broken leg, fix me up, right? We'll pay that if that's the deal.
If you
Uh,
start introducing this to senior citizen centers, the assisted living, instead of drugging them out and doping them out because they don't really want to mess with seniors at that point,
right.
seniors will get up and walk out.
Wow. It's this education, and it's also like you said, confidence in the user, but also massive confidence has to come from the practitioner. And it has, I think especially for the boomers, because I work with a lot of boomers, is you got to be confident and reassuring, and keep them safe, and say, hey, you may not have known this. I'm teaching seniors so many things they don't know just about regular nutrition, you know, um,
I
to
love
get them to a better state, to get them off of 8 medications that the doctor said you need to be on because you're 70. Now you need these medications. They didn't test you for anything. They just started giving you dope.
and no, and each one dumbs them down even more.
Yeah. So I just got rid of all the medications for my father-in-law who
Oh,
was
congrats.
who was diagnosed with Alzheimer's 2 years ago, but we knew he was going 5 years ago.
Mhm.
Um, and now that he's doing the things that I'm asking him to do, and we've gotten a lot of the things out of the house, we still got a ways to go. They're Puerto Rican and they love their Puerto Rican sugar and pork.
Yeah,
It's
lifestyle.
tough. It's tough. But he's getting better and better. And I think sometimes if you can I almost, I almost want to cheat them and just give them my urine and just tell them it's a different supplement.
Well, I found out firsthand and I had to learn it. I had to learn the lesson. I lost a friend over it. I was doing foot massage and reflexology, which is near and dear to me, in a public event. And without thinking, second nature, I pulled some urine out of my backpack. I had one of these in my backpack, and the guy
Yeah.
was complaining of a foot pain or a foot injury. And I put some on his foot. He says, "What did you just put on my foot?" I said, "Well, it's urine." He says, "Don't you dare put DNA. I don't want your DNA on my body." And so what I learned from that is if you're going to put it on somebody, you better let them know what you're
Yeah,
doing.
they gotta
Ask
know. They
for
gotta know.
permission. You just don't start dabbing your pee on people.
It's like, here you go. You need a little of this. You need some of this. That's a little more personal than a kiss.
Oh, very much so. And he said, "Oh, you're giving me your DNA." Well, there was no space for me to tell him that what I'm giving him was a remedy. So we parted ways after that.
Did you are you you might have seen this device because you spoke of Kangen earlier, which I bought a Kangen, I bought that $5,000 machine 15 years ago. And I stopped drinking that water years ago. I still have the machine. It's hooked up to the sink or whatever, and we only use it really for cleaning for the most
Mhm,
part and soaking vegetables. So so I upgraded to the H2 water machine
mhm,
because it could use distilled water,
mhm,
which Kangen can't Kangen if it's not dirty water.
mhm.
The water has to have stuff in it in order for it to work. This one doesn't. And it is structured hydrogen water, which is cool.
Yeah,
So we made the change. I really only bought the machine to make sure that I could explain it well to my clients. Um,
gotcha.
because I don't need to drink it. I just drink my pee.
Yeah. I mean, here at the house, I've got a water distiller, so I'm cranking out a gallon every 3 days because I use it in recipes and blending, and when I want to fast, I do a version of Master Cleanser with
Mm-hmm.
lemon, lime, grapefruit, turmeric, cayenne, coconut sugar, and it works just fine.
And so how long do you normally do that for, brother?
Oh, I'll just do it for a day unless I'm feeling like I need a deeper cleanse.
Yeah. Well, I can't see you needing much cleansing at this stage in your life. You're probably been pretty squeaky clean in there.
I've at it for a long time, and what I love is when people try to guess my age, and I hear ladies going, "Well, you have the energy and you look like you're in your 50s," and I said,
Hmm.
"I love you. Let's stop right there."
Yeah, let's just leave it there.
And this month I turned 71.
That's amazing, brother. You look great.
Thank you.
But it's more than how you look, you know? You can look good, but you are embodying and you are emanating so much from you, from yourself. You just youth and love and glow, it's all there. You got the whole package. That's the biggest blessing I think that that you can achieve. You got it all. When you get all the pieces and you're
Thank you.
walking your walk in confidence, you're teaching other practitioners, um, you're walking your walk, brother, and it's beautiful to see. And I
Thank
and I love the humor. I love when you post and you're making, P-isms online, and because it's gonna snap some people here and there. I've shared your things with other people just to see if they what they thought. Like, hey, have you anything about pee? You tried your pee yet? No, because I always like to mess with all these holistic health practitioners and stuff. Like we're all out here on the planet at the same time, and we're
Yeah,
on a playground of wellness, and we got to play with each other. We got. Have you tried this? What have you done this? Or what do you think about this? Or no, 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 I would never do that. But you did this. Why wouldn't you do this?
yeah,
You took methane blue, dude. That's straight poison. Why would you take methane blue? That's straight poison. There's no poison in your pee.
yeah.
Oh,
Oh, thanks to the courage of brave souls like yourself and other high-profile influencers like Jonathan Otto, Troy Casey, Amanda Vollmer, Dr.
yes.
But I've had the joy and the honor of doing interviews with all these major players. They put their name and reputation on the line because they know this is the real deal.
Yeah,
So
it's the truth. It's the
they
real
have
deal.
opened up minds in ways that people had because they have good solid reputation.
Absolutely. I am, my goal this year is to have a structured program to walk people through introductory course and then an advanced one. To just go, hey, we got to spread the news. You guys have got to spread the news. And the only way we're going to do that is through replication. And so we need lots of digitized products so that people can get their hands on this stuff and trip over stuff. Most people find things in wellness falling over things and they go, oh, what's this thing do? Oh, wow, that's cool. Um, if we could MLM urine therapy, man, I'd be all over it because it would just explode if we could do it, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah,
Oh
you
my
just
goodness.
simply enroll 10 people to drink their pee, who tell 10 people, and on it goes.
That's all you got to do.
Yeah, and you don't need an accountant because they're going to be paid with health and wealth from enriching their lives from practicing this.
I've been lucky enough to meet multiple people, and I think one of the ladies that helped me with urine, she was working for Zen Cleanse at the time, and we ended up doing an interview. But before the interview, she started talking and blah blah blah. Next thing you know, urine came up, and she was so young, like she was probably 22, and she was all in. And she's telling me about it and how long, she's only been doing it for 2 years, but it reversed all these conditions and so on and so forth, and that she'd never stop drinking urine. She's like, I'm a devout urine drinker forever. Urine therapy is the best therapy out there across the board for all human beings. It's the single protocol we all must have.
Yeah.
Unlike vaccinations, this one everybody needs. Everybody can do this one. No matter who you are, how old you are, we can all do this one.
Or your background or your culture.
Doesn't matter. None of that, or the so-called disease you have doesn't matter. Um, to me, that was when that consciousness about just how just how separated this system is from the rest of the body
Yeah.
to produce this, that you can be diseased all over the rest of your body. This will
Except,
not, this will not be diseased.
yeah, yeah, and it's a self-contained. It's a system within your system that runs that plasma into the filtration system, and then it gets it through the urethra, and you're ready. Yeah.
You're ready to go. It's and sometimes my mind flips into sci-fi mode a little bit and thinking of the original humans if we landed here or if we just birthed somehow or whatever. But I think of us kind of like not astronauts, but space travelers, we'll say, or whatever that should be. And
Call it
we
whatever.
landed here in this suit. Your spirit landed here in this suit, and you've got this special contraption to breathe this stuff called air here.
Hmm.
And the only other thing that you must have on this plane of existence is that internalized self-replicating fluid.
Hmm.
It's a self-replicating fluid. And I like to use the word replication because we're replicating all of this youth in cell every time we drink. Every time you drink, there's more stem cells. Every time you drink, you're youthing more and more. And so I shared last,
Youth.
yeah, 2 weeks ago, I did a talk at a public forum, and I was talking about cellular aging and that I was at 35 right now.
Hmm.
I'm at 35 cellular age, and in a year, I'm hoping to be at 30.
All right. Good
And
goal.
and that blew their mind because they thought I was going to say 40. They thought I was going to say older.
Hmm.
And a lady was like, "Hey, wait a minute. How are you going backwards in time?" I said, "Well, I'm not 30 now. I'm not 35." She went, "You're not 35?" I said, "I'm 52. That's my cellular age is 35. I'm time here 52." And she was like, I thought you were 35." right? And I was like, thank you. I honor that. I appreciate that. But I'm
That was
trying to
nice.
get, but my next step is to go to 30. I would
Yeah.
love if we saw each other next year and to promote this part of wellness that I do, I could have that. You know, we've got that weird guy. He's really pale white that's out here spending millions of dollars to be the youngest man on the planet. Have you seen that guy? He's come out with a supplement and all that stuff.
No.
Brian something, I think is his name. But he's doing, he's like taking blood from his younger son so that he gets younger as part of
Oh,
his therapy. And then he gives his blood to his dad.
gotcha.
His dad can get younger as well. And I'm like, y'all just need to drink your pee.
Yeah, yeah. You got the life-giving part of your body, which is the plasma. I always thought it was interesting. We're going to come to a close here. I
Yes,
always thought
sir.
it was interesting that when first responders, they get the accident victim into the ambulance, and on the way to the hospital, they're dripping in plasma into their body.
Mm-hmm.
And what we have is ultra filtered over 1 million times the plasma that has that stuff beat by a mile.
Beat by a mile.
Why don't they just start infusing piss inside their arm? I mean, it would be it's the new paradigm.
It is the new paradigm. And you know how marine plasma, for example, could be used in blood transfusions,
Oh, they've done that. Yeah.
right? Um, why aren't we doing this with urine yet? What are we waiting on?
Well, we're not doing it in the United States that I'm aware of. I'm not sure. It could be somewhere else. Well, when we get into the history of where this all came from, you're going to learn that not only that most people think of urine therapy going back 5,000 years to the Damar Tantra with Shiva and Pavarti, but we're just talking about there's two forms of history: written history, oral history. The oral history is a lot longer than written history, and that's passed down through storytelling and
Tribal knowledge.
common knowledge. Yeah. And so I try to figure out, well, how did it all start then? If it was before Shiva and Pavarti, it was whenever the first baby was born. And the baby got it from mom's womb, and the baby came out and already knew this is my water of life.
Yep, it was conscious of it already. That there can be no wrong here. Could be no wrong here. And that was the other thing. Once I expressed that to my wife, then she was like, that makes a lot of sense, babe. She goes, I may not be ready to drink my urine yet, but I'm coming around.
And she says, I'm so relieved that you're not crazy.
Yeah. I said, I'm not crazy. I said, I'm not going to do something that's going to harm me or you. You know, I said, I vet things out, I study them, and I tiptoe into them a little bit, make sure. I said, I was taught this in survival school in the military as a ranger. You don't just go in the woods and start eating things. You got to test them first, and you go through application on the skin, a little bit on the tongue, and you have to wait. So I do the same thing with all these protocols that I've tried,
Mhm.
over the years to validate it because the sources that you have to go against so-called conventional wisdom. So you have to go across, you have to cross that plane, and then you may be unsure in this new plane of existence of information and trial where there's also the possibility of error, right?
Right.
And
And
she's like,
this is the most perfect time in history to introduce urine therapy because since everybody, no, not everybody, but a whole lot of people are waking up to the big lie and finding out almost everything they taught us was a lie. Well,
yes,
if you can say if they taught everything about the lie, they also lied to you about your urine.
for
So
sure.
one thing I learned when I started this journey was to question everything that anybody ever told me. I got into A Course in Miracles and it said, question everything anybody told you and unlearn what they taught you so you can find out who you are.
Absolutely. I like that. Yes. I did you do the whole ASIM?
Still do it. You can't walk away from it. Yeah, I did the 365-day workbook.
You recommend it?
I highly recommend it. And it's a kind of book like Life and Teachings of the Masters or some other high books. You open it up to any page and it's right where you need to hear something.
You're the third
Exactly.
person. That's it. That's 3 points of confirmation. So yeah, I don't need any more than that.
Okay,
And
check, check, check.
all three of you, I highly respect and regard all three of you. And I have a lot of love for all three of you.
Thank you,
Um,
brother.
So I have been procrastinating with that HM.
Well, they've been out for almost 40 years. You can get them at used bookstores. Sometimes metaphysical church like Unity have them in the lending libraries. You can pick them up. Even
I'm definitely going to get this as a home hard book, because once I learn it, I've got to share it with my family.
yeah, and
Yeah.
they'll see you change, and you'll find out that the I won't go into the teaching, but everything that is everything that shows up in our life, we've given it a meaning to it. You know, everything is kind of like neutral. Like when you have a raw experience and people say, well, this is what it is. Well, you made it that way. And,
Right.
and the true cause of suffering is our attachment to our beliefs and what we think means something.
That's right. That makes sense.
And
That's it,
so
brother.
we're changing our ideas as fast as we can so we can get back to right thinking.
I like that. Change your ideas as fast as you can. Change them. Get quickly. Don't delay. Won't
So
delay.
that's it. I'm going
Thank you,
to,
brother. This was
I'm going,
awesome.
once this, let me turn